Good evening. It is such a privilege and a pleasure to be with you this evening at this virtual event for Mercury 1. I remember how great it was last year when we could meet in person. Unfortunately, that is not possible today, so we're doing it over video. Please let us join in prayer for a minute. Let us pray. Our Father, we thank you, Lord God, for your grace, for your goodness, for your mercy. We thank you for your love towards each and every one of us. We thank you for the miracle of America, Father, a land where your Judeo-Christian principles have prevailed for 400 years, Father, a land where everyone can achieve their dreams and their desires, Father. And Father, I thank you for Glenn Beck, for his vision, for his love, for his compassion, Father, for the times that we have spent together in prayer and just searching through the Word of God. And Father, I know the heart of Glenn Beck, that it is a heart that longs for you and longs for being able to touch and help those that are in need. And Father, I thank you for that vision that brought Mercury 1 into existence. I thank you, Father, for Suzanne Grisham, for David Barton and the rest of the team at Mercury 1. I thank you for the volunteers. I thank you for the donors that have been the impetus, the power to be able to enable Mercury 1 to touch those that are in need. And I thank you, Father, that you say to each and every one of those donors, "Well done, good and faithful servant. As you have done it unto the least of these, you have done it unto me." Father, I thank you, Lord God, that you're bringing America back to work, Father, that you're causing a restoration of our economy so that businesses in America may flourish. And Lord God, that as you bless them, they can become channels of blessings, Father. I thank you, Lord God, that as people donate to Mercury 1, they become partners with this ministry, and they are allowing those people in need to be touched with your love, Father. I thank you, Lord God, for our Judeo-Christian heritage. I thank you that for the love that flows from the heart of Mercury 1 as a whole towards all of those that are in need. And Father, I pray a special blessing upon the volunteers and upon the donors, Father, without which this ministry could not survive. I pray, Lord God, that you will bless them abundantly, that they may become channels of blessings, so that more and more and more people can be touched by your grace and your goodness, that they may continue to be a hand to those that are in pain, just a healing hand to those that are hurting. Father, we pray that the second decade of Mercury 1 may be much greater than the first one, and that more and more people may be touched by this wonderful ministry. We commit it unto you in the precious name of Jesus. Amen. Amen.
I grew up in a part of America where when my mom said you have to go down and get a can of beans, she meant the basement. And that basement was empty and dark, and as a kid, it was absolutely terrifying. And I remember kind of running in spurts in the basement, trying to get to that string, to pull that string so I could turn the light on. A light in the darkness. That's what I think we all feel like. Right now, we're just looking for that string to turn the light back on, a way forward. Right now, we all feel surrounded by darkness and despair and evil. But there is a way out of it. We just have to turn the light on and then get back to work. Normally, this time of year, Mercury 1 has a really swanky big event in Dallas where all the really famous and rich people come and we just milk them for all they're worth so we can serve people. They're a great group of people that actually I miss at our M1 ball this year. But because of COVID and, quite honestly, all the craziness going on in the world, this year we decided to do something different, and it's appropriate because we're approaching our 10th anniversary. Usually people come to Dallas to be a part of the year-end function, but this year I think it's appropriate that instead of you having to come to us, we are coming directly to you. Mercury 1 has done a lot of amazing things. But when I say that, it's not quite right. Because Mercury 1 hasn't done anything. Tens of thousands of you have done a lot. And you are doing it again tonight. You're joining from all over the world. Tens of thousands of people are watching this. And I hope they will feel the light by the end. It's something that all of us need. There are so many people that are hurting, and maybe you're one of them. Maybe you're struggling from the loneliness of COVID or from job loss or, God forbid, a personal loss with a death in the family. Well, tonight I want to assure you that you are not alone. You never have been. We're here for you. You're here for us. That's the way it's supposed to be. But sometimes we get lost. But tonight, we're both exactly where we belong, hand in hand. And through Mercury 1, we're all part of something really, truly historic and tremendous. For the nearly 10 years that Mercury 1 has been around, we've all been coming together to make a profound difference in the world. You may not know it, but by the end of tonight, you will. You'll see it firsthand. Sometimes we've come together in person, working to serve those in need. Sometimes it's in the middle of a hurricane or a tornado or a tragic fire. Sometimes we just connect in spirit and prayer. And people's hearts are softened, and their minds. I think of the people up in Detroit that felt so alone, and nobody came to help them. But this year, you were there. When you show up, it's uniting. It's uniting in purpose. And we combine our resources, whatever each of us have, to lift up, to help those that are worse off than we are. And you have given your time, you have given your talents and money. And because of the dollars and the cents that have come in, Mercury 1, over the last 10 years, or 9 now, has done nearly the impossible. I told you a goal a long time ago that Mercury 1 was to return people to their principles, to their responsibilities while helping others out. Well, that job's not finished. In fact, it's just about to begin. I think we all feel, no matter who you vote for, this is the most crucial moment of any time that America has faced, and certainly this is the most challenging time that any of us will face in our lifetime. As a collective and possibly as individuals, it's world-changing. People will read about what you do in history books. 100 years from now, they will study what we did at this time, and whether we failed or succeeded, whether we tore each other apart or we reached out and helped one another. Well, I want you to know you're on the positive side of the ledger. The sacrifices that you have made to lead and to serve and to donate at a critical time is unprecedented. I'm so excited to share with you what's been happening and show you this building. We were supposed to open this building up over the summer, but because of COVID, it took us a little longer, and we're still not quite ready. But I can't wait anymore to show you. It's an endeavor that we all began together nearly 10 years ago. And tonight I'll show you the beginnings of our next chapter in the American journey. We'll show you the museum that we have built, the campus, where students, perhaps you of any age, will be able to come and learn here. You'll be able to actually hold with your own hands the writings of our founders and experience American history like you've never experienced it before. We want individuals and families to immerse themselves in the historic document and the objects that tell our story. Visitors are going to relive our nation's history and gain a deeper understanding of the why behind America's complex and expansive story. And what a story it is. I don't know how it ends yet. I hope it doesn't. But I can tell you about the journey along the way. And it's both terrible and horrific and majestic and beautiful. It's us. And here we together will perhaps find ourselves again, and we will learn ways to apply the knowledge that we gain to the problems that we face today and in the future. But before we go forward, I want to show you what you've already accomplished. Look at what you and Mercury 1 have done.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic with more than 118,000 cases across 114 countries.
I was supposed to be in the studios today, but at 8:30 last night, I get a call from the doctor. And the doctor says, your children have COVID.
There are at least 433 cases reported in 32 states.
Well, over in Italy, the government is resorting to a drastic measure. They're putting a quarter of the population on lockdown. Back here in the U.S., Washington, D.C. now has its reported first presumptive case.
I want to say that I know that this is a challenging time for all Americans. We're enduring a great national trial, and we will prove that we can meet the moment. I want to assure the American people that we're doing everything we can each day to confront and ultimately defeat this horrible, invisible enemy. We're at war. In a true sense, we're at war. For those of you who are feeling alone and isolated, I want you to know that we are all joined together as one people, eternally linked by our shared national spirit. We love our country.
I'm tired of getting the phone calls that I'm receiving. Yesterday, I got the most heartbreaking phone call from Beaumont Hospital nurse who is crying, and she's at home. She's sick with the virus. And she's talking about how the reuse of equipment at Beaumont Royal Oak. She's talking about how babies are being tested positive for the COVID virus. And she's talking about how she's at home sick and how I have to do something and please do something and to stop this, and how we're losing Wayne County sheriffs to this virus, and how many are sick because they don't have not even thermometers, not even proper PPE. How people have started evictions here in February and they're still being carried out in March and April. And this has to stop. We have pipes that are not connected in people's homes, so therefore they still do not have any water. I mean, I'm in here fighting a war, and I feel like I'm fighting by myself, Glenn. I mean, this is insane what I'm going through, and it's like, my God, this is the city of Detroit. We are one of the biggest cities that there is, and I'm fighting by myself, and I'm tired of getting beat up because I care about the people of my city.
I reached out to my charity, Mercury 1, and I said, we have got to help the people of Detroit. And so we will work with your office. If you will take a call from my charity, we will work with your office. I don't care if we have to, send truckloads of food up to you, or if you need PPEs or whatever you need, we will help you. This audience is one of the greatest groups of people ever.
Oh, my God.
we were able to pass out over 600,000 meals. Countless microwaves, mini refrigerators, toaster ovens, not to mention the PPE, and as you know, is extremely important during this horrible pandemic. You have been such a blessing to us, and I cannot thank you enough for us. It has truly taken a burden off of us that we would not have been able to see a way out without your help and your support. And I just want you to know it is a heartfelt thanks that I give you. Thank you so much for being a blessing. Take care. Bye.
You have always been underestimated. Not by our founders, not by true leaders. True leaders know exactly who you are. And you've been counted out over and over again. People have tried to discourage you and say that they're going to overwhelm you and they're going to discourage you to stop doing what you do. And what you do is build America. They think that they can overwhelm the system, but what they don't know is you're the system. I'm the system. Together. People just like you and me and people we don't agree with, all of us together. That's how work gets done. When we come together, e pluribus unum. And our unum is lost. And that's why Mercury 1 is turning the page into a new chapter. And boy, are we going to need your support more than ever, because we're all going to have to roll up our sleeves. And I know, especially now, people are tired. They are overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. I know. Life right now sucks, doesn't it? Don't you just want everything to just shut up and stop for a second? You may feel like you don't have anything left to give, or you're just too angry, or the world is too unsure. I know I felt it all. We all have. I get it. But now is the time of the winter soldier, not the sunshine summer patriot. Now's the time we're in neck deep, and we have to fight our way out. You are the valiant soul that will save America. You are the person that was born at this time in this country for this reason. I don't know what that reason is for you, but now is the time you are needed. And that can manifest itself in many, many ways. Only you can decide that. There are people with time and talent and resources. Maybe your resources are something that's sitting in your house that is a valuable piece of history and I don't mean value dollar, I mean just really important that maybe you need to share. Maybe it's just prayer power. Maybe it is going out on the front lines and serving and caring about people who are radically different than you. Maybe it is the widow's mite. And I don't know what your widow's mite is, 5 cents, $5, $5,000, whatever it is. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But the hurdles that we are facing, it's a pattern that we have seen over and over again, not only in the history of America, but a history of the world. The difference is, in America, we're usually humbled, and I'm wondering what it's going to take for us to be humbled. I didn't say that out loud. I really don't want to know what it's going to take. But in America, we're humbled, and then God shows us the way forward. We are blessed, but we forget God, and then we run into trouble, and sometimes powerful, powerful trouble. But he will have a humble people on this land, because that is what the American journey has been since the Pilgrims. That's what our experience tells us. It is our job, it's my job, it's your job to preserve the best and the worst lessons from Americans and the American story, so our children can study it and learn from it, so we can become a more perfect nation. And everywhere we look, history is being stripped from us. I want you to know you're going to see some of our vaults tonight, but you're not going to see all of them. One of them is actually buried in the side of a mountain. And it has founding documents in it that will not be lost because it's too important. Children need to be taught, but now they're being taught that somehow or another people are inherently evil because of the color of their skin. What happened to Martin Luther King? We were making progress on that road, and now we've turned. What happened to us? We must preserve those things that we have learned because they are precious. Let me show you one example. Let me show you this. This is George Washington at Valley Forge. It was donated just a few months ago to Mercury 1. It was painted by an incredible artist named Liz Lemon Swindle. She actually came to my office about 5 years ago, and she said, I want to paint George Washington. And I said, you know what you should paint is, just me being flippant, George Washington accurately at Valley Forge, because he didn't pray on his knees and look down and was quiet. He always looked up and he spoke to God. And we know that's true. We know this happened because there was somebody, a British supporter, that was hiding in those woods and listened. He actually changed his alliance after hearing this because he ran home and said, honey, we're on the wrong side. Any man who talks to God like that, God will listen to. This helps us understand our American legacy. If you could see it up close, you can see the tears in his eyes. This is Washington at one of his lowest points. The story that many of us feel like we're living right now, the hardship, but it also has the hope and the courage and the bloody footprints in the snow, and Congress abandoning the soldiers, hungry, huddled around fire, sick. But it's this moment with Washington saying, dear God, help, help. How did we get here? How are we to keep going? What is the path in front of us? Help us. Have you had that prayer yet? Because I have almost every night. But it's not just the prayer with him humbled on his knees. The most important part of the story is what happens next. George Washington stood up from the bitterness of the snow, and he got back onto his horse and he went back to work. That's what we need to do. Forget about the fatigue, the fear. His men and George Washington spent months at Valley Forge training and preparing for the even bigger battles that were just right straight ahead of them. They were farmers with pitchforks coming against the greatest army ever assembled. Can you even imagine what that felt like? And as we stand in front of this picture, at least I have felt the shiver of the desperate times we're now living in. I fear it might get worse before it gets better. But we need to ask the same questions. How did we get here as a nation? How do we keep going? What is the path in front of us? What do I have that can actually help? If we remember who we are and we look at the struggles of the past, we will begin to understand our own struggles and our own future. And most importantly, our own strength. That is our mission here at the Mercury 1 American Journey Training Center, which I want to tell you about. In our training center, We are going to bring American history to life for the next generation. We are going to preserve for them the triumphs and the trials that made the American story. Yes, it's bloody and ugly, and it is glorious. And we want to give them that, because then as they face their tribulations, not only in our day, but their day, they will be able to draw on the strength of our noble heritage and get back on the horse and get back to the work in front of them. Tonight I want to ask you to continue to help us do that. I also we're making this available. I want you to hang this in your home. It's available at the end of the presentation tonight. There's going to be a live auction for a giclée of this by the artist. It's beautiful. But we also have, for a nominal cost, something that will help us finish our journey here. You can buy it and just hang it in your home so you can remember the truth about our country. But before we get to that, I don't even know where to start. We have so much to show. I feel like Willy Wonka. Come on, so much time and so little to see. Nope, reverse that.
Kind of involved in politics, and so I listen to Glenn Beck a lot while I'm painting. And I just had this really strong impression to do a painting of George Washington's prayer at Valley Forge, praying but looking up towards heaven. But I just felt like this was a painting he was supposed to have. I became very mindful of this partnership that we have, not just as leaders of a nation, but as individuals. There's really only so much we can do, and then it's in God's hands. That felt to me like that was the story of Valley Forge. So it was really important to me to see that despair and that total giving yourself to God. I studied the death mask, so it would be in his 60s, so I had to take him backwards. Even though there's documentation of people that have seen him, in the age of photography, that's not easily done. So with George Washington, I had to make sure that I got this right.
What we at Haven Light have created for Mercury 1 is a special Valley Forge edition of In God We Trust. We wanted to create a presentation that reminded people of America the way it used to be. Most importantly, it's built to last. We wanted to create an heirloom that could be passed down from generation to generation. It's an American product using the highest quality Northwest hardwood with 22 karat gold lettering and gold metal finishing throughout. The entire artwork, from print to frame, is handcrafted in our facility by our master printers and framers. We set the edition at 77 to commemorate the year Washington set up camp at Valley Forge. Each is signed by the artist and numbered. At Haven Light, we help others to find their voice through art. We know that the true power of art is how it makes you feel and what it says to those you love. Whatever your message, let art be your voice.
Kind of involved in politics, and so I listen to Glenn Beck a lot while I'm painting. And I just had this really strong impression to do a painting of George Washington's prayer at Valley Forge, praying but looking up towards heaven. But I just felt like this was a painting he was supposed to have. I became very mindful of this partnership that we have, not just as leaders of a nation, but as individuals. There's really only so much we can do, and then it's in God's hands. That felt to me like that was the story of Valley Forge. So it was really important to me to see that despair and that total giving yourself to God. I studied the death mask, so it would be in his 60s, so I had to take him backwards. Even though there's documentation of people that have seen him, in the age of photography, that's not easily done. So with George Washington, I had to make sure that I got this right.
What we at Haven Light have created for Mercury 1 is a special Valley Forge edition of In God We Trust. We wanted to create a presentation that reminded people of America the way it used to be. Most importantly, it's built to last. We wanted to create an heirloom that could be passed down from generation to generation. It's an American product using the highest quality Northwest hardwood with 22 karat gold lettering and gold metal finishing throughout. The entire artwork, from print to frame, is handcrafted in our facility by our master printers and framers. We set the edition at 77 to commemorate the year Washington set up camp at Valley Forge. Each is signed by the artist and numbered. At Haven Light, we help others to find their voice through art. We know that the true power of art is how it makes you feel and what it says to those you love. Whatever your message, let art be your voice.
I'm really excited to show you all that we have done. 10 years has been a very busy time, not only for you, but also for us. 10 years ago, I was on TV with David Barton. I was so much lighter, more svelte. And we were teaching history, and I was learning a lot of history. And the one thing that David taught me is when you have the actual document, it's kind of hard to argue against. And we're going to show you some of those documents that we have that literally change our history books. But this here is right now a warehouse where a lot of our items are being held as we get them ready to secure them for what will become a permanent museum here on the studio complex. We also have a brand new state-of-the-art 3,000-foot vault that I'll take you inside and show you here in a few minutes. And we also have clean rooms where we're doing restoration and copying of items, and you'll understand how that connects to you here in a few minutes. But the one thing that David taught me is, again, if you have the document, and I thought it was better if you had the stuff. So yes, I'm a pack rat. Let me show you here what we have, just some of the things and how it's so important when you know history. You can learn from history. You can actually see where we went right and see where we went wrong. And I want to show you something that we just got today. I'm really excited to show you. Come here. So if you were listening to my show about a month ago, I bought a chair, and Pat and Stu were making fun of me because what are you going to do with it? Well, the American Journey experience, because chairs, we've got a lot of. This one is, if not the first, the second electric chair ever made. This is from New York State. It even has a little evacuation door here because you apparently pee your pants when you're electrocuted. This is such a gruesome piece, but it tells the story of AC and DC current, the struggle at the time between Tesla and Edison. It all came down to a gruesome electrical experience by Thomas Edison, who, once you really know the truth about Thomas Edison, you don't like him that much. It was this chair that tells the truth about where we came from and how we have lighting and how we power our homes now. President Taylor's chair back there. We've got a really scary Nazi torture chair, but this is the one about a month ago that we bought, and if you look, it says President F.D. Roosevelt chair. This chair is so important to American history because at the time, no one knew that he was paralyzed. If you ever see him standing or walking, he couldn't walk. He could only throw his leg with his weight. He had to have, usually his sons, helping him to wherever, and then he would just hold on for dear life. So when you see him speaking to the Congress, he's standing, but he's standing up with his arms only. It was an amazing trick, the American people. He didn't believe that the American people would want a cripple for a president. But I think this is so important because at the same time, across the sea, the Nazis were killing anyone that was an undesirable. If you couldn't walk, the Nazis would have killed you. You didn't have a place in the world. And yet, a man who they would have executed just because his body didn't work, destroyed the Nazi state and beat them with his power of his intellect and the power and might of the free world. This is, I'm going to try to move it up to the Resolute desk. This is a copy of the Resolute desk that sits in the White House. It was put into the Oval Office. Wow, it just fits. It's like it was made for it. Probably was. This desk actually was not in the Oval Office until Jackie Kennedy saw it. She thought it was such an important desk made from the HMS Resolute, which had been trapped in ice. The English couldn't get it out. The United States Navy went up. We got it out and towed it back to London. Queen Elizabeth was so grateful she had the wood from the HMS Resolute made into two desks. There's a sister desk that sits in Buckingham Palace. The other one now is in the Oval Office. But when Roosevelt was alive, it was in his study. That's where he did his fireside chats many times. That's where he would go over maps and look at the progress of the war. But he wanted one thing changed on the desk. And I'll show you. This little door, most people remember this door because of John coming out and that famous picture of Kennedy at the desk. But this is not original. This actually was put in at the request of FDR because if you see, all of this piece is not original. If you open up, you would see what any press shot would see, and that is a man in a wheelchair. This was finished after his death, so he never saw it finished. This is technical term is a rat with a bomb up its butt. This was Ian Fleming's idea to help the British beat the Germans in France. He thought if we just get a bunch of dead rats, put a bomb up their butt, then we'll airdrop them into France. The resistance can go throw them by all of the power generators that were still being run by coal. And it didn't work out well because they dropped 100 rats with the bombs in their butt. And they dropped it on the Germans. And so the Germans opened it up, figured it out, but actually it did delay the Germans because they had an entire squad that was looking and turning over every dead rat to see if it was an English rat butt bomb, I guess. This, I've never understood. This is a treasure for me. This is the original script for Orson Welles and the War of the Worlds. And I've never understood how people could be so fooled by what was going on. This, however, now makes sense because we are doing the same things where you don't know what's true. The news sources are everywhere and different, and you don't know who to believe, and the public is afraid of war and invasion. This now explains not only 1938, but it explains our time as well. Things like this is Patton's flag that flew at his funeral and flew in his office. We have all kinds of memorabilia from World War II, World War I. This is Tokyo Rose's microphone, actually taken at the time by a naval officer who swore he was going to burn Radio Tokyo down and kill Tokyo Rose himself. When he got there, everyone was gone, but he took the microphone. He didn't burn the place down, and as it turns out, it's a good thing he didn't kill at least one of the people that posed as Tokyo Rose, because she was actually a hero and a fantastic story. Charlton Heston's chariot from the Great Chariot Race in Ben-Hur, his cloak. This is Eva Braun's hat. Eva Braun was the wife, if you will, the lover of Adolf Hitler. If you look inside, you can see that it was made by Berta Hyman. She was a very famous hat maker in Munich at the time. Eva had all of her hats made by her. She insisted that she got her hats from her. And as soon as she got her hats, she sent her to a concentration camp because, of course, she was Jewish. That's the Cup of the Carpenter from Indiana Jones. This is actually Disney, pre-audio animatronic. He couldn't get Mr. Lincoln to stand up and to speak to the people at the World's Fair when he first introduced audio animatronics. It wasn't working, so they had to keep taking it apart. Well, he needed the head for all of the lighting that he did. So he had his shop make this head of Abraham Lincoln, and it sat on that audio animatronic so they could finish all of the lighting and then finally open it up to the public. R2-D2. Behind here, you can see that is the D-Day flag. I think that is the Star-Spangled Banner of our generation. Memorabilia from Muhammad Ali. This is the mask. They made 3 of them, I think, 3 or 4 of them for each movie. This is the original New Hope Darth Vader mask, which everybody wants to try on. Sorry, you can't. We have things from all different wars. This one is from the Civil War. This drum back there is another one, I believe, from the Revolutionary War. We have an airplane, biplane from World War I. You name it, we have a little bit of everything. But I want to show you some real jewels regarding Abraham Lincoln. And it is part of our mission tonight to really look into Abraham Lincoln and what he did, what he stood for, and what we need to remember that he told us to remember. We try to get items that may seem really weird. For instance, sports and Olympic torches. Why would we have that? Well, this is the torch from the 1972 Olympics that was in Munich. That helps us tell the story of the Palestinian terrorist group that took the Israeli team hostage in '72 during the Olympics. This torch is from 1968. This torch is a symbol of Black Power, the first time that was given in something global. And of course, the year that Jesse Owens participated in the Olympics, 1936, this is from Berlin. Now, I want to introduce you to somebody that I think you're going to be really impressed by. He's a guy who started in one of our classes. How many years ago, Jonathan?
It would have been 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Listen to the volumes of knowledge that he has. He is also going to be one of our first doctoral students. We are putting him through his PhD so he can actually teach teachers. And we know we can trust you to hold fast because he knows so much now about American history. Take us through what else we have here.
So we've got a lot of different things, just real fast. This right here is from George Washington. His signature is right there in big letters. What this is at the end of the Revolutionary War, because we don't have a standing army, all the people that fought throughout the war are being discharged. So this is actual discharge papers from George Washington. This particular soldier served from 1777 all the way to 1783, which is
really long.
Remarkable at that time, because quite often they would just come in for a season, maybe 2, but this particular soldier said, this is so important, I'm going to spend until the war is done fighting for liberty and fighting for American.
And remember that just like now, they didn't trust Congress because Congress never paid them and treated them like garbage. I want to talk about Abraham Lincoln a bit. Behind me is Mary Todd Lincoln's funeral dress. It was actually strangely made by a slave that was the tailor at the White House. This woman stitched it, and you can see the bottom hem was just put together quickly. But we have a lot about Abraham Lincoln and his death.
Yeah, I mean, even going back to why Mary Todd Lincoln was wearing that death, right? Lincoln's assassination, I'm sure we've talked about it quite a lot because it's such a significant artifact. This right here looks like just a random piece of cloth, but it's actually a piece of the jacket Lincoln was wearing when he was assassinated. It's
strange to go to Ford's Theater because they have the jacket.
Yes.
And it's missing that piece. And I go in and like we have that. We should get those two together.
Exactly, yeah, and so just amazing. It even has part of Lincoln's blood on it. Just, I mean, you can't see that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so it just all goes to tell the story of who Lincoln is, what he did, why he was assassinated, because he was being so bold in standing up for the rights of everybody.
And it's strange because people don't understand. The war was over when he died, and Booth really thought that he could unite the South. If they could just kill Lincoln, it would unite the South, and they would fight on. It didn't work out that well, and it didn't work out that way, but Booth hated Abraham Lincoln. And when he went to the theater that night to kill him, that wasn't the first time he tried to kill Abraham Lincoln, and we have actual photograph of the first time.
That's right. This right here is the only picture that has both Lincoln and Booth in it at the same time. It's actually from Lincoln's second inaugural address. You can see Lincoln right there, head and shoulders taller than almost anybody else, standing at the podium reading his address. But if you go up here into the crowd, there is a lone head right there.
Very clear.
Very clear. It's almost the only clear head in this entire photo, which is, interesting. And so you see Booth is right there. And that day he had actually tried to, right? He tried to make an attempt on Lincoln's life because he was so angry.
It was out of rage. He heard, with charity for all and malice toward none, and he wanted war. And he came running down the steps at Lincoln and tripped before he could get his hands around his neck, and a police officer actually put his body in between Booth and Lincoln. Nothing was done because Booth was very famous, and when he got up, the police officer grabbed him and said, "Hey," and then looked at him and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Mr. Booth, are you okay?" A little did he know what was really going on.
That's so crazy. One of, I think, the most amazing artifacts that we have from Lincoln is this right here. It is a letter handwritten by Lincoln. You can see his signature right there, A. Lincoln. But this is from July 15th, 1862. And what's significant about this is he is writing to Congress, asking them to stay in session for just one more day, because he is very devoted and very interested in getting a law passed that would actually become the very first legal act Lincoln does to free slaves. And it's called the Second Confiscation Act, and there was a clause in there about how any slaves that made it to Union lines would be immediately and forever free. And Lincoln was very concerned about this clause because he wanted it to be just right, because if it wasn't, there was a chance that it could get struck down by the Supreme Court.
It could also be, how can you punish the family for the sins of the father or the brother? If the brother owned a slave, you're taking not only his property, but after the war, the family could say, yeah, well, that's not his property. That person is our property. And the legal framework around led to this.
Yes, because Lincoln riots, they stay in Congress, this law gets passed, and then 5 days later, Lincoln starts really working through the draft for the Emancipation Proclamation, and then several months after that, it finally is announced, and it really goes back to Congress staying in session in order to work through with Lincoln some of the constitutional elements that gave him the legal framework in order to issue the Emancipation Proclamation, and really it changed the course of the war.
This is something that is my personal favorite. Explain what this is.
So this is a early facsimile. It's from the early 1800s of Thomas Jefferson's first draft of the Declaration of Independence. And what's fascinating about it is you can see it's in his hand, right? You have a declaration by the representatives of the United States of America in all caps, and General Congress assembled. And as you go through and read it, there are several noticeable differences than the version we're familiar with today.
And I want to show you, just like when you use, a Word document, when you change it, they crossed it through, they put up above, and then they put who changed it. And this one says
Franklin, and then Adams right there, because they're all on the Committee of Five, and the three of them, obviously Jefferson did the most work, and then Franklin and Adams tuned it up a little bit. But what's fascinating to me is this right here on the third page. It's the longest grievance in Jefferson's draft. And what's fascinating is it's an anti-slavery grievance. It's going through about how King George had prevented every single attempt of the American colonies to stop or restrict slavery or the slave trade. And every single time time a colony passed a law saying, slavery's a bad deal, we don't want it in our colony, the royal governor or King George himself would veto that law and says, no, if you're going to be a part of the British Empire, you are going to have slavery. And so this right here, Jefferson includes, and what's fascinating too, is as you read through it, it talks about how the Christian king of Great Britain determined to keep open a market where men should be bought and sold.
This shows that Jefferson knew that when he said all men are created equal, he meant...
In the very same document, he describes and defines what he means by that. And what's fascinating too is in this, it is in all caps, which is the only word aside from the title, United States of America, that is in all caps in the entire document.
He was passionate.
He was passionate.
So where'd you learn all of this stuff?
Well, a lot of it is, from you guys, from Mr. David, from the leadership training program that we do during the summer and work. And
And what does this knowledge mean to you?
Well, it changes my understanding of America. I remember when I was in college growing up, I really hated politics. I wasn't really interested in American history at all because every time somebody talked about it, it was like, man, we really haven't done much to be proud of.
Right.
And then I started talking to Mr. David, listening to him, and going back to the actual sources, the actual documents like that. And I was like, why did I never learn any of this back when I was in school? And I went to a pretty good school, and we never even talked about this.
Right.
And it changes what it means to be an American because I know the truth, and that allows me to love my country.
So our leadership training program has been happening during the summer, and you've been there, you've seen it. What is the percentage of people that you think are changed? These are college students, 18 to 24.
18 to 25. And all of them come in. And really the folks that are coming in have already tend to like America, but sometimes they struggle to defend America, right? I love the nation that I was born in, but I keep hearing all these different ideas, these conflicting voices, and how do I discern between what's right and what's wrong, and how do I defend what I believe? And so every person that comes in is equipped and sent back out to their schools, their communities, their churches with the tools to be able to do their own research, with the discernment to be able to tell between what is a good source, what's a bad source, who is lying to me and who's telling the truth. And a lot of times they're super encouraged to be more bold in their defense of truth because
they're excited about it.
They're excited.
Yes.
There's so much that hasn't been taught. There's so much that's been hidden. And really here with the artifacts that we have is I think probably one of the only opportunities people will have to see it and hold it and really be confronted with the amazing and exceptional truth that is our history.
So some of these documents are going to be available for you to purchase at different prices. All of the money will go to help fund everything that we do here. We didn't have a big fancy ball and we're not milking the rich people. We are actually milking the rich people, but we're not throwing a big shindig for them this year. And so your dollar keeps every light in here on and keeps that training center open. So if there is nothing like having the first draft of the Declaration of Independence when your teacher at school is teaching your children, oh no, he was a racist, wait until he shows up with this, wait until he shows up with this and this. All of these things will be available for you to purchase because you need a package for your family to be able to preserve these things. Some of them are going up for auction. This will go up for auction and it will be signed on the back by David and I as well.
And a replica version of them, right? You're not signing the originals.
No. They're not originals. They're not originals. But they help fund everything we do. And this is really important. When I first got these and I heard the rocks that are in them, I didn't know exactly what they were, but these are ankle chains, bracelets that went on the ankles of every slave. And they had that so you couldn't hide. If you were running away, you'd be able to be found. They're just simple rocks inside of these. Abraham Lincoln urged us to finish this great work. And I think we have lost sight of that, and we have become so arrogant that we are talking about the mistakes of the past instead of the mistakes that we're making right now. There are more slaves around the world today than in all of the 400 years of the Western slave trade combined. And we are so proud to be involved and be able to help you free slaves. You are a modern day abolitionist. We started with original funding of OUR and also the Nazarene Fund. Timothy Ballard joins us now to tell us what they've been doing.
Hey everybody, Tim Ballard, CEO of the Nazarene Fund. So grateful to be here with you. Mercury One, of course, is the founder of the Nazarene Fund, Glenn Beck and Mercury One. We're grateful that we get to serve along with you and grateful for your support that allows us to do this vital work. For those who aren't familiar, quick review. About 6 years ago, something horrific happened in this region of the Middle East. We'll start with Erbil, that's kind of our base camp. And all along this area called the Nineveh Plains in northern Iraq, in came this horrific, evil group called ISIS, animals, really. And they came in and they just terrorized these beautiful Christian and Yazidi villages that dot the Nineveh Plains. Beautiful places, centuries old, some of the oldest Christian communities still in existence, under attack. And they turned so many of these villages into slave markets, literally killing the men, kidnapping the women and the children, and forcing them into sex slavery and other forms of slavery, including even organ harvesting. And very few people knew about this. In fact, very few people even know that these beautiful Christian communities exist in the Nineveh Plains. But Glenn Beck and the Mercury One team knew, and they did something about it, and they did something incredible. Glenn Beck and Mercury One were able to get literally over 10,000 people out of harm's way. But ISIS is still alive. They're still growing. They don't have any sovereign territory anymore like they had before, but they still exist. They are still growing, and they still have thousands of missing women and children who we have those lists, and we every month literally are extracting them out through means we can't really talk about, but that's the work that we are doing right now. And I want to say a word about the operators doing this work. They do not do this for attention. They don't even want the attention. And because of that, probably we don't even talk enough about them, but we should. Most of the operators of the Nazarene Fund who are downrange doing the dangerous work, they too are persecuted Christians. And they feel this. It's their calling, it's their love, it's their mission, and they're willing to die for that. And they're led by one of my dearest friends, Rudy Atala, former colonel in the Air Force, a Lebanese Christian who leads these groups. I just want to give a shout out to them and ask you to keep them always in your prayers. They are downrange, they're in danger, and they are doing the heavy lifting and liberating so many people, so many children, even right now. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's terrorism, ISIS coming in, wars of any kind, of any factions. The last to be thought of, the first to be discarded, the first to be completely dumped on, persecuted, killed, beat up, enslaved, are those religious minorities, the Christian families, the Yazidi families. And that's why we are there, to make sure that no matter what is going on, they have some refuge, some hope of deliverance. There are almost 1 million displaced Christians right now who are running for their lives because of their belief in Jesus Christ. We have a list of over 3,000 Yazidi children who are still lost, children who were kidnapped by ISIS over the last 5-6 years, and we are doing all we can to help those. This has been a busy year with the COVID-19 season. We've had to do a lot of extra things, new assignments. For example, we've delivered food and medicine and hygiene kits to over 12,000 suffering Christians, helped families in Iraq, Lebanon, and Jordan, helped provide cleaning products, and helped clean churches and the homes of people in need, keeping them safe from the virus. We are still rescuing Christian families all over the Middle East. We are having success. Even during this difficult season, we are having success. I want to tell you about Layla. Layla was kidnapped from Sinjar City along with her 2 children. Her husband was presumably killed because we've never seen him or found him since. Her 2 children were brought into slavery with her. In fact, they were leveraged against her. When she would be raped by these monsters and she refused to participate or cooperate, they would literally beat her children in the next room so she heard that. And that was the leverage they used so that she would cooperate with being raped and not fight back. And I tell that story with her permission. She's one of those that wants her story told. She wants the world to know what happened and is happening to her people. So much so, in fact, that after she was liberated, she joined our team and has been running our aftercare program in northern Iraq. She's the first one that greets the newly liberated, helps them. She can sympathize, she's been there, and she tells us what we need, what they need, what we need to provide for them. She's just been absolutely a blessing from God to her people. And her children, we're happy to say, are in process to migrate to safer country where she will continue to work with her Yazidi people who are in that country, in Australia, and she will continue to work from that side of things, making sure that everybody is getting what they need, the healing they need, and the reintegration into society that they deserve. In August of 2014, an 8-year-old girl named Martine was living happily in her village in the Nineveh Plains in northern Iraq when ISIS came in and terrorized the village. People went running and they fled. Many were kidnapped, few escaped. Martine was one that wasn't so lucky and was kidnapped. And she was forced for the next 4 years into a hellacious life of sex slavery. She was passed around, ISIS pedophile to another ISIS pedophile, and where she was raped literally every single day, sometimes even more than once a day. We were able to locate Martine and reunite her with her father. It was a bittersweet moment for Martine's father when she returned to him and fell into his arms. And when we delivered her to her father, he said to us, "I know that you blur faces, but we do not want our faces blurred." And Martine stood strong and said, "I don't want my face blurred. I want people all around the world, and especially in America, where we have a large population of Christians who just don't know what's going on, or they would engage." Martine wanted her face to be seen by you so that you could see the face of a child sex slave, a survivor of sex slavery, so that you might feel more willing and more inspired to help us rescue more children who are currently facing the same plight that Martine has faced with her family. We're super grateful to the Australian government. They are our #1 partners in this fight. They welcome in the Christian and Yazidi families who are being persecuted, who have nowhere else to go, literally taking in thousands. And we're so grateful to them. This COVID season has been very difficult. A lot of travel restrictions have stopped that migration process, but we just found out recently that Australia's opening things back up, and we are feverishly downrange, dotting the I's and crossing the T's and finding the new protocols and getting them in place so we can move these people back in place. But we are just so grateful to the Australian government for opening their country to those in need. Please don't believe that ISIS is gone. They've lost sovereign territory. They don't show up in the news like they used to back in 2016. But they're very much alive. The intel reports tell us they're actually growing, and they will make their move again. In the meantime, they have these children that we're trying to get. They're also increasing their attacks, and we can't be caught off guard like the whole world was 6 years ago. And we're not going to be caught off guard. With your help, we will stay in front of this. We will continue to extract children. We will stay close to our government allies to make sure that we are protecting these ethno and religious minorities, these children and these victims.
So now I'm with the brains of our education program, David Barton, and we are in front of the old film vault for the studio, and we have transformed it into our history vault. And I just found out he has the combination to it. They haven't given me the combination. So
you need adult supervision.
I know. So you'll open up the door. We're going to go inside. This is, again, unfinished. We're still moving all the documents in. This is controlled temperature, controlled humidity. It has, halon gas, which, if you saw the movie that just came out from what's his face?
Got it.
Got it?
Got it.
If we start a fire, David won't be able to breathe. It'll be fun. So let's go in, David. White gloves.
Oh, yes,
here,
thank
I guess. This is only one of our first times really in the vault.
I mean, we haven't got it arranged yet. I mean, we're just
we have nothing
trying to get it arranged.
We have, this is 3,500 square feet, I think. And we'll take a Category 5 tornado.
Yes, it will. And a
It's
Category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet. I mean, it's all bulletproof walls.
It's everything.
It's secure.
Humidity controlled, and this is where we will be storing many of our stuff.
The most valuable items will go in here. This is the inner sanctum.
But this is not the only one. Wall Builders, which we are partners with, that's yours. You have 115,000 founding documents, and that's all underground, but has the same kind of protection of this vault.
It's got same protection.
So we take this very, very seriously because some of these things are really cool, but some of them are really important.
Some of them are one of a kind. I mean, we were just talking to a guy today about acquiring his collection. It's one of a kind stuff from the 1500s through about 1700. And I mean one of a kind. It's the only in the world.
I haven't gone through it yet, but I've heard that it is the best pilgrim collection you've ever seen. True?
Yeah, it's been on display at Pilgrim Hall. It's been on display at Smithsonian. It's been on display at all the really significant areas.
And this guy is I don't want to give it away because I don't want people to, I know really, 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 really rich people that like this stuff themselves and would try to go, but he has given us a good deal and first
by the
option.
way, rich people have a lot of stuff. It just doesn't get used. This is going to get used, and that's what's different.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good collection, and what he has is really the top of the line. He sees the best stuff, and he's able to purchase the best of the best, and that's what he's offering us.
He is well-known in that kind of circle, and he has offered us this amazing collection. And is it true we got a 7-figure discount?
Oh yeah, it's a strong 7-figure discount because it's us and because of what we want to do with it. And he has the same vision of being able to see history get out there and change people, change the way they think, which changes policy, changes the country.
Which we are going to we're going to take you just a minute to another room, one of the classrooms that we have here, where we're going to make a really exciting announcement. And this vault and all of these things tie directly into the classroom, which will be not only here with a museum, but it will also be online. This is such a cool thing. I just had to pull this out. This is an 1800s like Amazon box.
Yeah, if you were in the 1800s and if they had Amazon Prime back then.
It'd have a big smile right here.
That's right. And if you went online and ordered yourself a Bible, Amazon Prime, they would stick it on a railroad car and ship you, this is one Bible. This whole box is one Bible.
Right, this is not your typical Bible. This is one Bible. Oh my gosh, it smells
1, 2, 3,
like,
4,
can I
5,
pull
6,
one out?
7, 8 volumes. You got to be really careful pulling them out. They are delicate. So let's go with that. There you go. That's one of the 8 volumes of the Bible.
But the reason why this is so big and so special, this is before Braille. And so this is pre-Braille Bible. And before there was Braille, you would have to trace your finger
over each letter.
They're raised letters,
Right.
and it is the alphabet letters, A through
Right.
Z.
You can actually, I can read this with my eyes while it's upside down. 5 houses of the Lord. You can read it with your eyes. It's just like the printing press had no ink and just pushed it almost all the way through the paper.
You would wet the paper, and then the press would almost push through it, and then it would dry, and then they would bind it. And so it is made. Davy Crockett, we actually have an account of Davy Crockett watching someone read through one of these, and he had no idea what Braille was. This is before Braille. He had no idea the blind could read. He was just shocked. But this is the kind of stuff they had.
This is why Braille came into play, because this is one book.
Yeah, one book.
This is one book. So we would really like your help in raising money for the Pilgrim and the Early American collection, because I think it would be incredible.
There's nothing like it in the country, in the world, and it is the strongest foundational time in American history.
And the problem is 1619 Project, they don't have anything to back that up. We have much of the stuff now to back it up, but this makes the strongest case. And exactly like in the 1860s, the question was, 1850s, 1860s, are we Jamestown or are we Plymouth? And we have to have this argument, it seems, about every 150
Well, every
years.
time we forget our history, we have to have this argument.
Right.
Which is what we want to do, is help people not forget history so we don't have to go through this every time.
And I learned from David, when you have the original documents, it's really hard to argue. You can say anything without an original document, but once you have the primary source, you're like, really? Because here it is. Where do you read that? Mm-hmm. So that is
fun stuff.
That is something that we're working on, and if you would like to be a part of it, you can help us raise money, you can donate, you can talk to friends, but we are always in the acquisition mode here, and we're always...
There's an acquisition for you. You haven't seen this yet. So
Do I know what it is?
You will recognize it. It is one of the rarest books in the world.
Oh my gosh, I know what this is.
It is?
An Aiken Bible.
Now here's the deal. They printed 10,000 in 1780, the first Bible printed in English in America. So first English language
and
Bible.
told to be printed, authorized by Congress.
It has an endorsement in front of this from Congress. It is described as a Bible that is a neat addition for the use of schools. They printed 10,000, and there were about 32 left in private hands until we got a call. And a guy said, hey, I've got an old Bible from 1782. It's been in my family for about 8 generations. You guys want it? I want to give it away. Yeah.
Did you tell him?
Oh, yeah. I said,
you don't want to give this away.
We would love to have it. You don't understand what you have. Send us pictures. So he says, yep, this is it. So we told him back, this thing, you have no idea the price tag on this. I still want you to have it. And it's like unbelievable. So this is an unknown, unrecorded copy. It was not known to exist.
Can I see?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm looking for?
Yeah, very careful. It's really delicate. It's looks like that's the back side of it. So it's a very, there you go.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
It has the first pages. I have one of these. You have one of these, right? There's only 34 of them, and they don't ever come up and have
and again,
first
this
pages.
is an unknown copy we now own. It's one of the rarest books in the world.
And we can send this now and have our people
They will take care of this and restore
make sure that
it.
it is. Wow, what a gift.
What a gift.
What a gift.
What a gift. What a gift.
Okay, David, before we leave the vault, anything that we should know, anything that the people should know about what we're doing in here?
Yeah, what we do in here doesn't stay in here. I mean, this is not like collecting something and having like National Treasure where they put everything down at the end, or even Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, they moved the Ark in there and nobody knows where it was. This is about taking what we have in here and getting it outside of here into general knowledge, general use, general application. But the authority of having the original changes the bait, it changes the narrative, changes everything.
So I will tell you that I'm designing a lot of the interiors, and there are going to be 2 very neat walkways when we have this all done. This will become part of the museum tour when we have special items that we want to show you, because we want you to be able to see it, when possible, touch it. And you know, I've never forget, we have a good friend, Harlan Crow, here in Texas, and I went over to his house, and he has Eisenhower's helmet from D-Day. And I said, "You've got to be kidding me." And he's like, "No, you got to put it on." And I said, "No. And he's like, "That's what history is for. Put it on. You're not going to hurt his war helmet." And he let us borrow it for Restoring Love.
Well, you remember what happened when you put it on that young boy and he wore that he got to wear that helmet?
Yeah.
I mean, he was just a change.
You may not remember when I put it on the head of a World War II veteran.
Oh, I do remember that.
He wept.
He wept.
He just wept.
Sure did.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. So let me take you now across the building to a couple of classrooms that are going to play a very big role in our announcement, which is coming up. So before we get to Tim and show you, this is actually going to be a second classroom. Right now, it's just a staging place as we are making sure that everything is right and clean, etc. So this is kind of not really our dirty room. I know that sounds bad. We have a dirty room. When any object comes in to the vault or to the museum, we have to make sure that it is bug-free and has nothing in it or on it that could infect any of the other artifacts. Then, because we're in the middle of a move, it's being staged here. But after we receive it in the dirty room, we clean it, we make sure it's good, and then it goes into that room where we look, we repair it, we give it a new life to make sure that it is stable and in the best condition it can possibly be before we put it in the vault or on display. You'll see Mary in the back. She's one with the light and the little black thing in front of her. That's an amazing new device that we are now digitizing all of the original books on the founders and on America. Some of these books are 200 years old. We can actually take a 400-page book and digitize it as fast as we can turn the pages almost, and it flattens everything out. And we can do a 400-page book in about 20 minutes. This will allow us to be able to put everything, all of our archives, all of our documents, all of the books that we have, all online, so your kids or you will be able to have instant access to all of the original sources. Suzanne just came by. Come here. Suzanne is our director of Mercury 1, and it's weird not doing a M1 ball this year.
Yeah, it just didn't seem right.
No,
it wasn't
it's not.
a lot to be joyous and celebratory and have a ball about.
Right. And I don't think we could have had it because of COVID anyway. I don't know who would have taken us. So tell me some of the things that you're excited about that you're working on.
So we have been building this out throughout COVID. You know that. You were not in town, and we just kept on going with construction.
Yeah.
So this has been going on for several years in concept, and it's finally built out. We are going to have training in here, of course, in these areas. We're also going to be having our collection, which you talked about, being digitized. We also have naming opportunities throughout the whole entire American Journey Training Center, through the training room itself, the vault, the exhibit space. So,
and this is for people to donate to help us build this space.
Yes.
And this is, you're really working on future plans, which are in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
That's the next project.
That's the next project. But this is the stage in between where it's kind of proof of concept before we take that next big leap. And this is something that you and David and I spoke about a year ago, saying, I think we should take a medium step because we need to get this stuff to the people as fast as we can.
Right, and that's going to take several years throughout the fundraising and then the building of the actual American Journey experience, which will be a museum and an experience where people can come from all ages, pre-K to gray, and everyone can come and view the artifacts and have an experience around the history and context. But then we have the first source documents and artifacts that are there for people to see that are the backup for the stories and all the experiences.
And our goal is to be able to build something where you actually really, truly experience those things, where you're landing the boat on D-Day. You feel as though you've gone through it. So we can get those people who just want an experience and have fun, but all the way through, you're getting real history and you're seeing the actual things that happen.
Yeah, and it's more than just dates and names. It's going to bring it to life. A lot of the young kids aren't experiencing history in school right now.
My kids hated history. They both ended up majoring in history when they got to college because I told them the stories.
Well, and I'm not going to tell you, I was always memorizing the dates and the names. And what war it was in, and I was moving on to the next chapter.
Right.
And so you guys were quizzing me about all my history, and I'm glad I remembered things, but it was a struggle because you just think, okay, I just got to memorize it and move on.
Yeah.
But it comes to life when you guys talk about it and you tell the stories.
It's the people that matter. It's the people that matter. And it's not their name per se, but it's what they did and what they conquered or what they struggled through that really matters.
Yeah, and the journey of our nation and where we've come and the good, the bad, and the ugly, which you say often. But what have we done? What are we striving to attain? How much more work do we have to attain it? But let's keep true to the foundation, the principles, and the values.
Thank you for everything that you do. You are so good and gracious, and you have really brought to the table some very important people that have really helped build this and do all the things that important people always do that you don't, and they're usually way too shy to say anything, so they don't have their name on the building, but they're the ones who are really just moving mountains that the average guy sometimes can't.
Well, I'm the one that feels honored to serve here, but also to serve our amazing donors every single day. I'm just here to be the hands and the feet on this earth to do what we need to get done. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, let's go see Tim.
Yeah, the freedom from fear.
So we'll try to get the last one.
Guys, sorry, I got tied up with Suzanne, and I was showing them the clean room and the restoration room.
I heard what you guys were talking about with donors and stuff. You got something I got to show you. I'll be back. You guys go. I'll see you in a minute.
So I wanted to talk to you, Tim, because in this room, which is wildly unfinished at this point, we're not really ready for this grand opening yet. But in the next couple of weeks, all of this is supposed to be done.
Yes.
And in this room, something important happens. We've already done one kind of trial in here. And we're going to officially kick it off, and we'll explain in a minute. But explain our roots of where we've been in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, so wanting to reach the next generation, recognizing things you're hearing in culture, on social media, from personalities, and obviously on college campuses, is very contrary to the foundations of America, whether that be from faith or family or even the Constitution. And we've been collecting for so many years these original sources and documents that contradict so much of what is being promoted and taught today. And we thought we want to help the next generation know what's true. And as people of faith, we believe that truth does exist, that there's a God and he made the world to work a certain way. And so we want to pursue truth. But part of how we do that is we want to help kids have the opportunity to come and be able to have hands-on learning. And so instead of just saying what some professor thinks about George Washington, we can say we actually have letters that are written in George Washington's own handwriting. He wrote himself. We have things, artifacts, and just so many thousands of items in the collection that we bring students in. And for 2 weeks, we start with the foundation that truth does exist. And what does it look like? And for so many of these students, we really have to deconstruct a lot of what they've learned.
So what I like about this is because these are 2-week courses. And people have come from all over the country in the last 4 or 5 years as we've tried to perfect this. And the thing I like is the first day,
You don't teach anything. You just question.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The idea is that as much as we know and want to pass on, most people have some preconceived notions of what they believe is right or wrong. And for most people, they don't really know what they believe or why they believe it. And so until we get to the foundation of knowing what we believe and why we believe it, it's hard to add on new components and pieces. And so we start with, okay, so what do you think you know? And we just ask questions. And then we have people defend what they think they know to see what can we actually defend based on what is true, what's factual, maybe what's biblical, what's constitutional. And really, once students realize they don't know nearly as much as they think they do, then that they're in a place where we can say, okay, let us show you some things to now build on maybe what you haven't learned.
And we have seen students go home and actually teach their professors, right? Teach their professors. Have we had anybody get in trouble with any of their professors?
So we've had professors get angry at students and threaten grades, but we've had students be able to show, I'm just presenting what's true. We've had so many teachers who started off frustrated by the pushback from the students. And we talk to the students not just about presenting truth, but doing it in a way that you're not challenging authority, but maybe you're challenging the narrative not trying to disrespect a teacher, but sir, I'm wondering, can you help show me? Can you explain this to me? Because this is what I want to learn. But when they challenge the narrative and then they're able to present truth, teachers that initially started off frustrated, there was a student in University of Louisiana, and the teacher was talking about being pro-choice and the importance of being pro-choice. And so the student just started talking about what abortion looked like, and it made the teacher angry. And they said, how dare you do that? And the student said, well, this is what we're talking about. The next class, the teacher came back and said, I examined what you said and I realized that you were right and I just didn't want to hear it. So I'm going to acknowledge that you're in front of the whole class. The teacher was pro-choice, backed up, kind of acquiesced to the position of this student who said, here's just the facts of the situation. And so one of the things that's so unique about our training program is we deal with things not just from history, so much of current modern culture, whether it be the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, the Second Amendment, things that are very pertinent around us, the pro-life issue, socialism versus capitalism, the free market. We get into these pertinent issues and we look at it from the position that truth does exist, right? That it is knowable, it's definable, and we start with looking at the Bible, we'll go through the Constitution, the founders' writings. But with this as the foundation, we equip students that not only have we given them a foundation of truth that we've presented to them, but also we've showed them how they can pursue truth on their own so that when they leave this place, we stay in touch and we love getting emails and texts and messages. It's so fun hearing from them. But we've given them a foundation that we are teaching them how to be truth seekers. So when they go from this place, they know how to pursue truth and defend truth wherever they are.
And they also know what they don't know. And we don't know a lot.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that you really have to.
With the professors, we've seen kids take on narrative not only with abortion issues, but with economic issues, socialism versus free market. We've seen kids take on narratives with professors over founding fathers, the character of the founding fathers.
Didn't we have one history professor who wrote on the paper, you are either the boldest liar or you know something I don't know. Come see me.
Yeah.
Right?
So after the class, the professor, first of all, gave the student an A and was very impressed. This is an amazing paper, but I want to talk to you after class. So the student goes up and says, okay, I haven't heard any of this. So I want to know, where did you learn this? Because I'm not sure it was true. And I looked it up because initially he thought, I thought you were lying. I went and looked it up. I checked your sources. I checked your footnotes, and it was true. Where did you learn about this? And the student said, well, I went to this program in Dallas, and they showed me original documents, and they taught me about this. And the student starts explaining that for 2 weeks I learned, and this was just, she said, one afternoon I researched on this topic, and this is what I learned in that one afternoon. He said, so what else did you learn while you were there? And she said, there was so much more. He said, would you be willing to come? I want to continue this conversation. I want to learn about what you learned. This student literally got invited by the professor to the professor's office once a week in the afternoon, mentoring this professor on what she learned in this program.
It's incredible. It's incredible. We have seen people change.
Yes.
Change. And we have had so many requests from adults and families. Yeah. I want to put my family through it. I want to go through it myself. I usually come in at the very beginning and then the very end, so I get the two sweet spots.
oh, you guys are in trouble. You have no idea how much you're going to change in the next 2 weeks. And then I get to see them change and I get to ask them questions, and it's really exciting. But I want to even put my family through it. We've been working towards this announcement, and while we still don't even have everything up on the walls or in the vault or anywhere, we are ready to move forward because, David, as you and I talked over a year ago, we both feel we're running out of time, and we have to plant this deep, and not just in college students, but in everybody.
Yeah.
In everybody.
That's one of the things we'll plan on starting very shortly, and including next year, is we're going to open this up, because we hear back from the parents of these kids. Parents come home and say, oh, they're so different. Wow, I want to go to this too. Great, but it's 2 weeks. So we'll start next year probably once a quarter, offering parents an opportunity to come to Dallas. It'll be like a Thursday evening through the weekend.
And really for families, right? Because
that's right,
families. If they want to
right.
bring the kids with them, because so many times when the students are here, parents say, can I just come sit in the back? Can I come and learn? They want to be a part of it because culture is lying to everybody. Media's lying to everybody. And so families in general, people are desperate looking for truth, and we have the opportunity to give people access to truth they won't find anywhere else.
So here's the exciting announcement. We don't know what's coming for the rest of the year after the election, so we're planning on doing one virtually before Christmas. We'll see if we can.
And it's the adult version. It's not the 2-week version.
Yeah, it's a 3 day,
That's
3
right.
days, and just it's very compact. So you can watch it online. We'll have students here, and if you want to be a part of it, you can contact us. But we will also be doing it virtually. Then I just got Brad Meltzer. You know who Brad Meltzer is? He's just agreed to come and teach a course and do a special course on whatever we ask him to talk about on history. And he's fantastic and such a great teacher. But we're going to have master classes with guest speakers. And they'll all be online. And you can also let us know if you want to come and learn from, first of all, you guys, because you're such amazing teachers. So I want you to go to M1 Next Chapter, that's right? M1nextchapter.com, and you'll find all of the information on what we're doing and how you can watch it, but it will be available on YouTube, it will be available at Blaze TV, it will be available everywhere that we can place it. Now, it's kind of like Prager University, except long form.
Right.
Now, my interrupting thought that I had a minute ago when you're talking about the conversation with Suzanne was this Bible. We recently obtained this Bible. It is from Selena, Countess of Huntington. Now, Countess, and that's her book plate inside. And I don't think I've used that name with anyone who knew who she was.
I don't know who she was.
I will tell you that probably America as an independent nation does not exist without her, because we easily say that without the First Great Awakening, America would not exist as a nation. We would be like Europe, still fighting each other.
The founding fathers also largely acknowledge that.
That's right.
Okay, wait. She's the Countess of Huntington.
She's in
England?
Yes.
She's in England.
In England.
Okay.
She is a Christian lady that is not Church of England. She's a dissenter, so she's more Bible-oriented.
Enemy of the crown, but quietly.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
So
Okay.
what she did was she took her funds and she funded the ministry of George Whitefield. She funded the ministry of Asbury, of the Wesley brothers, John and Charles Wesley.
Right.
She funded the ministry of black ministers like John Morant, like Obadiah Equiano. She funded the minister of Harry Hoosier, Indiana named Hoosiers.
Holy cow.
Yeah. She funded the publication of the books from Phyllis Wheatley. She funded Samuel Occam, the first Native American minister in America ordained.
Is her family still alive?
I don't know.
We should find out. We should go thank them.
Yeah. But
holy cow.
What struck me was, donors will get a lot of credit in the end time. I mean, God knows what she did and what she funded. We don't. But her funds were used in a way that she gets credit for what happened with America, because if she hadn't done that,
but she doesn't.
She doesn't get credit here.
She doesn't get credit here. I've never heard her name.
But without her, America would not exist as we know it today. And that's the same kind of thing, even with funding out the completion of this. We're turning kids out of here that'll go out and change the world, change professors, whatever. And it may be small donors or big donors that help us get this stuff done. But God keeps score. And He knows that, and people get credit for it. That'll have
He also magnifies everything.
That's true.
You know,
he does increase it.
He takes everything and magnifies it.
Yeah.
He is the best at making lemonade.
Yeah.
You know, out of every lemon I've ever created, you know, in my life, he okay, you learn your lesson? Yeah. Watch this. And it's amazing. It's truly amazing, especially in these times. You know, we have a awesome responsibility to each other and to our posterity. And it's kind of grim in a way that I feel like we are building something that may have to be hidden at some point, you know, if you get into really bad times. You know, this is the kind of information that people who don't like freedom want. And one of my promptings has been, learn your scriptures, dude, because you're going to need them, and you're going to need them without the book. And that's a scary thing. But that's how we all need to learn all of the stuff that we find self-evident.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that's so unique about what we do in this program with presenting truth and using original sources, original documents, like going back and being able to identify Selena, the Countess of Huntington, and we have other things from her as well. But even telling some of that story, when people discover truth, Jesus talked about the truth in Scripture. In John 8:32, he said that when we knew the truth, it would set us free. And even though we do believe in coming years there'll be a lot of opposition to what we are doing, because we are presenting a narrative so contrary to what culture, what media, what Hollywood is saying, but it's truth, and truth brings freedom. It has an impact on people's lives.
And it's weird, because I never understood how the foolish will confound the wise. And it's really that the wise are not wise. They're wise in worldly things.
Well, the Scripture says, professing themselves to be wise, they were really fools.
Right.
And that's
right. And that's kind of where we are now.
It is where we are.
To where the people who pronounce themselves as the wise are pronouncing people who believe certain things as absolute morons, foolish, science deniers, all of these things. And there's coming a time, I think soon, hopefully, where the foolish will confound, and they'll be like, wait, how is this working? Why is this happening?
That's right.
Because truth is truth.
It is.
Principles, eternal principles are always true, whether you deny them or not.
And that's kind of the story of what we do in this room. So that's part of why we exist.
Before we wrap things up and go to an auction and deliver a special message to you here in a second, I want to show just a quick bit of what we do, what we've done already in this room, and a little bit of what you and your family can learn.
I came to LTP mainly for just kind of guidance in how to go about tackling culture and politics and history, and knowing that history that's being taught now isn't true. And I wanted to know more about what is true and how our country was truly founded and God's hand in that. And coming here has really done that, and I've made great friends, and I now know people that can help me and can help me to help others as well.
What they do is they go through the primary documents, they actually show you the artifacts, they actually show you the letters, and so you know that they're actually telling the truth, and what they're showing you is actually accurate to history.
I mean, I was writing down notes, like tons of notes every single day, because all of this information that they were giving us were things that I have never heard before. It's anyone who, relatively likes history or would like to know more about the foundations of America or the founding fathers, the education system, should apply, because you'll come out with a lot more knowledge and thirst for knowledge after you're done with the program.
We think that we're not up to it or we don't know what to do. But we are the people that put on uniforms just like this, people who had never been out of a field or a farm, and suddenly they found themselves overseas. They found themselves storming the beaches of Normandy. The Normandy flag really tells our story of the 20th century. Look at the battle that flag went through. It wasn't easy, and it was really done by a bunch of men that knew the odds of them coming back weren't very good. Tonight, the lights are turning on in this center. Tonight, we move forward. I pledge to you that I'll do whatever it takes to save our country, preserve it, to remind people, to teach people, to fight for it. It's not worth dying for, it's worth living for. I am from stock, it runs in my blood to stand for what's right, even at the sacrifice of your own life or your own health. That's what Americans do. It's what we've always done. We just need to remind ourselves and our children and our friends and our neighbors of the noble history, the blood that runs through their veins. And at the same time, we still have to take care of those who are in need today. We have to fulfill Lincoln's request to bind the wounds of this nation. Our brothers and sisters are hurting, are sick. Those are struck by tragedy or disaster. Those who are being attacked for their faith. It's a lot. We have a lot to do. And we are seemingly running out of time. But I know how God works, and it's all on His time. If you feel tired, scared, and alone, sometimes I do too. But then I remember you. And I remember I'm not alone. And I remember how many people listen and watch. There are millions of us. We just have to lift each other up and turn the lights back on. Remember who we are. I think David Barton thought I was crazy when I said, you know, we need to buy up a lot of movie stuff. He was like, oh, okay. But as I sat here before the broadcast tonight, I looked at all of this stuff, and it tells our story. It tells the human story. It's not just an American story. It tells the human story. Darth Vader, he was a good guy at the beginning, and he got twisted and turned. But there was always hope for him. Luke, I could have been at Tosche Station picking up my power converters. But he did it. He didn't want to. He didn't even understand it. He didn't know what to do next. But he did it. Really, the only one that was really consistent was that guy, R2-D2. Even the big gold guy was like, no, don't do that. He was the only one. Everybody else changed, because that's what happens. That's what happens in great struggles. And we are in one of those great struggles. We are in Dorothy's story. What did Dorothy learn? Dorothy learned she was supposed to go to the wizard because he had all of the answers, right? Have to go to him, got to go to the capital city, got to go to Oz, because magic happens there, and the wizard will know what to do. Well, she found out the truth about the wizard. He wasn't anything different than she was. And in the end, she learned she had the power. It was her power to change the world and to go back home. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade reminds us to humble ourselves. The Jurassic Park, the same. Don't let science, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. The Titanic. teaches us that you should say to the big fat woman floating on the door, can you scoot over a bit? I think there's room for two of us. I don't know how that one fits. But Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory sure does. Because it's almost as if, compared to the rest of the world, we live in that chocolate factory. We fail to see how blessed we are. We fail to see all of the amazing things around us. If you were born in America, you have the golden ticket. Let's remind each other of that. Let's help one another. Let's bless one another. Let's not get angry, not pick up arms, but be warriors of light. And I'm telling you, God will pour out his blessings on us. It's going to be tough, but together we'll make it. And we'll all make a difference here. We will stand here and we will teach and preach and we will preserve who we really are, both good and bad, at the American Journey experience. And people will come because people like hope. They will come because they're curious. They will stay because they will be able to dream again. Our next decade is going to be a lot different than our first decade.
This third item is a copy of the...
Wonderful work. Thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight. You know, if you're watching at home or wherever you may be, make sure to use the hashtag #M1NextChapter. You've seen it all night right there on your screen. So if you want to get involved and make a donation, you know, the American Journey Training Center right here where we are, where you see a lot of those videos here tonight, it's going to encompass the training for educators, students of all ages and families, and everyday Americans who are seeking the truth about our nation's history. So here's the great thing. We're going to ask you to make a donation here tonight. You're going to see it right below on your screen. But the good news is you may say, I can only give, let's say, $10,000. Well, we have a matching gift here tonight, and that matching gift is at $90,000. And that $90,000 is an anonymous gift, and also to our wonderful sponsor, Patriot Mobile. So let's say you want to make a gift of $10,000 to support us here tonight. Your gift will allow Mercury One to digitize our artifact collection, as you just heard Glenn talk about a few minutes ago. Digitize it into our database, so the truth of our nation's history can be accessible to the world. We don't want to put it into a room. We want it to be somewhere and something you can learn from. So that's a gift of $10,000. will you make a gift of $10,000? And remember, that $90,000 match, right now we're at 61. Let's keep going. Deborah, thank you so much. Alan and Lisa, Carol, wonderful job. Thank you guys so much. Levi, Ronald, oh my word, the donations keep coming in. Walter and Gail, Lori, thank you so much. So your gift here of, let's say $5,000, let's say $10,000 to help us digitize these artifacts isn't something you can do. But a gift of $5,000 is. Your gift of $5,000 here at Mercury One, it'll help us continue the essential artifacts that tell the honest history of our founding. We are the great United States of America. Will you make a donation of $5,000 here tonight? Look at all the artifacts behind us. You can help. Bethany made a donation, and Janet. Thank y'all so much, Bethany and Janet. Excellent job. Y'all can clap. That's okay. That's great. There we go. We're trying to learn the whole COVID thing and a virtual fundraiser here tonight. We are live right now. So a gift of $5,000. Marilyn, Leslie, excellent job. Thank you so much. Whatever the gift is, if it's $10,000, if it's $5,000. So you may say, you know what, the gift of $5,000 doesn't work, but the gift of $1,000, that is something I can do. Your gift will allow Mercury One to establish that virtual and in-person classroom for learning. You know, we got to change the way we do things, and that's what 2020's been all about. Let's change, let's reinvent, and let's reimagine. We really wish we could gather here tonight, but we can go virtual, and you can be a part of that solution. It's a $1,000 gift. Will you make a gift of $1,000? James, thank you so much. Lori Lee, thank you. Sharon, Kathy, Marilyn, oh my word. Ronald, excellent work. Remember, if you're sitting there and you're like, you know what, I didn't register you just yet, but I still want to make a gift, you can text to give. Just simply text Mercury One, O-N-E, Mercury One, to 56651. And this is going to be your last chance for the raffle as well. We'll talk about that in just a moment. You see it right there on your screen. Text Mercury One to 56651. We asked for $10,000, a $5,000 gift, and even a $1,000 gift. Let's go to something that you may be able to do a gift of $500 or more. You may be able to double that gift. But a gift, let's say, of $500. That's something that can essentially help us with your ongoing support of the American Journey Training Center, where we are right now, live. It's to enable Mercury One to educate all generations about our nation's history. Think about your kids and your grandkids. Leave that legacy like Glenn saw. Glenn is a revolutionary individual, sees it, and knows how to change the future. So we can all be educated together. Nancy, Cynthia, oh, Kevin just came in with a donation. Thank you so much. Corbin, oh, here we go. Glenn, come on in. Come on in, Glenn.
I just want to remind, man, I look like crap. I just want to remind everybody that $1,000 is great. 10,000 is even better. But we changed the course of restoring honor with 8 pennies. If anybody remembers that story, it's like 15 years old now, but 8 pennies made the difference of doing that event in the National Mall and not. Because somebody gave the widow's mite, it inspired so many other people. So please, anything that you can do, even if it's a prayer, we would appreciate it. You know, we'd rather have a check for $10,000, but we know that the prayer and the 8 pennies, the widow's mite, is worth everything.
And the prayer is important. What we had here tonight before the mics even kicked on is we had a prayer for the event, for God to look over us and to make sure that these gifts here tonight are of faithful stewardship.
You know, I was just talking to some people who are just watching behind the camera, and we talked about how Mercury is different than most charities. When I go on the air, I say all the time, every penny goes to this cause, whatever it is we're running, every penny. We don't pay for the lights, we don't pay for this building, nothing. Tonight is the night, and we're really having a hard time because of COVID. It has really hurt charitable giving because so many people are struggling. And this event every year pays for the lights, pays for this building, and we have so much that we are trying to do. David and I spoke earlier. We have the opportunity to buy the biggest collection of pilgrim heritage an American heritage from 1500 all the way. It's an amazing collection. The guy is giving it to us a third off, but we have to do it now. That's a $2 million raise just on that, but it helps us debunk everything. In their own words, their own writings, absolute proof that the 1619 Project is a lie. We need your help to preserve it and to get it out into our schools and communities.
You know, right now we're at 77,000. Glenn, thank you so much for sharing that. It's your gifts here tonight that are going 100% of it. And so that's what we need. You know, we've asked for big numbers, but maybe the $300 gift is perfect for you. It'll provide a scholarship for a student to attend a leadership training program. You know, it's a 2-week-long course, and it's led by a team of historians like you saw earlier. We want to make sure we bring you the right historians and the most accurate information. So let's see, Rochelle, Barbara, Karen, Deborah, John, Sam, y'all have all made great donations here tonight. Zandra, remember that $90,000 matching gift. We want to thank our anonymous donor for doing that, and of course, Patriot Mobile for that, but it's a $90,000 matching gift. So you may say, my gift of $5,000 is a lot, but not enough. It is enough. Essentially, your $5,000 gift is a $10,000 gift. Your $300 gift, it's a $600 gift. So will you make a donation? And if you haven't logged in, you can still text to give. That's the great thing about technology, is not only that we can bring you this wonderful programming here tonight, but you can also text to give. Text Mercury1, O-N-E, to 56651. The last giving level before we move into our live auction in just a moment, and the raffle will be closing in just a moment, so you can get that Mercedes-Benz A220, or of course you can spend the day with David Barton and Glenn Beck, a wonderful experience. The first winner will have the first choice, the second person will then get that other option, which wouldn't be bad if you get a new car or get to spend the day with those two guys. So your gift of $100, let's leave it there, and we're gonna ask you for it. We're a few dollars away. Wendy, thanks for your donation, and Joel, but a gift of $100. That will 79, how much is it? 79? $79,000. We just need $11,000 more to hit the match to double. All right, now we're at $80,000. Just $10,000 more to get to our match. Patricia, Trescott, Wendy, Joel, Daniel, Janine, Teresa, Leslie. Oh my gosh, the gifts are coming in. We just want to ensure that the American Journey Training Center is doing the best job we can. And it's with your gift that we have that opportunity. So make a gift of any kind, whatever it may be, but right there below are those giving levels: $300, $100, even $50. We got 10,000 more to go, just under that, to reach that matching gift number. We can activate that matching gift from an anonymous donor and Patriot Mobile. So let's get to that $90,000 match as soon as we can. Let's 82,000. We just need 8 more to go. Wherever you are, you may be watching right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or you may be in another part of the country. We hope you feel comfortable, we hope you feel included, and we hope you're getting a great education and learning more about our rich nation's history. So you may say, you know what, I want to spend the day with David Barton and Glenn Beck. Or you may say, I need a new car. You want a Mercedes-Benz A220? The raffle is where you get that opportunity. So we're gonna close the raffle in just a moment. Is that right? Just a moment, we're gonna close the raffle. So last chance, we're gonna have 2 winners. One is gonna get to choose whether they want the Mercedes-Benz A220 or they wanna have a day with David Barton and Glenn Beck here. We're at just around $84,000. Is that what you're seeing? Almost 85,000. Come on, just 5 more. I know we can do it. Gary, William, Michelle, and another Michelle, Bruce, Jane, yes, Lucinda. Wonderful work, excellent. You know, we're gonna move into our live auction, but we'll keep you updated on that in just a moment. We need that $90,000 so we can activate a double and get a match for it. So, you wanna bid on a live auction item? here's what you have to do. If you're already logged in to the Murad Auctions bidding site, you'll just need to click the green Bid Live button as we begin our live auction in just a moment. 8 wonderful items. Some are one of a kind and things you'll never see anywhere else ever again. It'll appear under the menu button right there, so click that green Bid Live button. If you're watching from home on the main page and you're not logged in and you still like to make a bid in the auction, simply click the Register Now button. You can join in the bidding and make a donation to support us here tonight. You'll see the live auction appear on your screen and just need to click the bid button just to bid on the live auction. So let's see, let's go to our first item. And really what it is we're gonna just start off with something kind of fun, something kind of easy. It's gonna be a book. It's going to be our Volume 1 of our Mercury 1 collection book, focused on untold and forgotten stories from history. We have hand-chosen artifacts, our permanent collection to highlight with glossy photos. Open to bid now. We have it at $25, looking for $30. Derek has it, $25 now, but you get a $35. You got it, Julie, now to get a $30, but you get a $35, $40. He's looking for $40. Sean has it, $45. Come on, keep bidding that $5 donation. Just go, click it, go, go, go. There we go, Adam's back in. Sean and Adam are playing tennis back and forth and back and forth. And Derek, welcome in. There we go, $70, looking for it right now. We're going in $5 increments, maybe going $20 increments. Maybe we need to shoot that up a little higher. This is just getting the auction started. It's our first item. It's a test item. It's a fun one. Chris is in. Let's change, there we go. We're going in, are we going in $10 increments? Look at that. $25 increment, sure, let's go. This is our first item. And we're gonna show it to you right here. So the good news is it's not just one you're gonna get, Ms. Grisham, our executive director, it's signed. So it's signed right there with Glenn and David. So this is the one you're gonna get. We'll take care of that in a second. We're gonna zoom in and let you get a good shot of it. We're looking at 205 with Benjamin. Thank you so much. Glenn's back.
Let me just explain this. Let me explain this real quick. This is the first idea of David and I to make sure that every home has the story and the documents. We are going to be, this is a great piece. We are going to be making more of these. This is up for auction tonight, this actual letter. This is the letter that changed the course of the Civil War and brought us the Emancipation Proclamation. But all of these stories are in here for every piece of history that we have. This is Volume 1. It's fantastic, just fantastic. Award-winning photography, and it is something that you can share, you can have as evidence when your friends say, "Oh, I don't know if that's true." Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Here's the document, and it tells the story of each of these.
And what we care about the facts. We care about our rich history here in the United States. So right now at $380, Adam, looking at it, there we go, $300, go to $405. Uh-oh, Adam and Brian, Benjamin has it. Here we go, you see it right there? Ms. Grisham, hold it up, you're doing a great job. $430, let's just try to, we gotta hurry up and sell it. We're about to close it, so hurry up and click bid. We're about to close it, go to our next live auction item. Autographed Mercury 1 Collection Coffee Book, Volume 1. It's autographed by David Barton and, of course, Glenn Beck. Some pictures, some great facts so you can have a discussion, a rich and accurate discussion. Not just one of, this is a great idea. No, you can really tell the rich history and prove it with the documentation with this coffee book. So right now we're looking for $480. Lisa has it at $455. Lisa has it, and Thomas and Benjamin. Well, Benjamin, that's a good name. I'm sure your name's in here a couple times. You're at $480, looking for $480. We're about to close it. Lisa has it at $455, looking for $480. We're gonna give him one last shot. How many more seconds should we give him? 10, 9. Come on, bid it up, Thomas. Go. Come back in. We're looking for $530, 2, 1. Sold. Yeah. Looks like Bethany came in last second. So we just sold our first live auction item, but we have to share this with you. We shared that we have a $90,000 matching gift. Have we done it? We've done it. We've got it. $90,000 in the gift. Wonderful work. So our second live auction item here tonight is, well, we know him. He's a dear friend of what we do. We saw him last year at our M1 ball in person. We're here at our M1 event. But this right here is a Grandmaster. We know him as Chuck Norris, a dear friend. We're going to hear from him a little bit later.
This is a black belt. There are only, what does it say, 13 of 25. There are only 25 of these, signed by Chuck Norris. My son is in the Kickstarter program, and at one point he said, when you get your black belt, I'll do the test. And I don't know, my son, hurry up! It's his 80th birthday today, and this is...
Your son's?
No, Chuck Norris.
Well, I didn't know. Well, Chuck's is March
10th.
10th. March 10th is 80th. A couple months ago.
Oh, I thought it was...
But it's this year. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, but it's this year. You got it.
Okay, so this is his a black belt. This is, who has a Chuck Norris black belt?
Well, somebody's about to get Chuck Norris's black belt. It's number 13 of 25. It's framed. It's signed in honor of Kickstart Kids in the 25th anniversary. Back in 2018, we were offered this once-in-a-lifetime limited edition custom case offer. So what do we have the bid at right now? Let's pull it up for the Grandmaster himself, Chuck Norris, black belt.
Amazing.
Right now, we're looking at $2,500. 25 now, but you get a 25, 5 to get a 2,500. Open a bid now, but you get a 25. It's 13 of 25 of them. So we figured we'd start the auction off at $2,500. So you can have an autographed Chuck Norris black belt. Are you ready for this? Do you know how to do any of this? Your brother teach you? No? Is it heavy? Okay, it feels good? Okay. 2,500, we're looking for it. You coming in at $2,500. Open a bid now, but you get a 25. 25. Come on, can they do it, Texas? It's an autographed Chuck Norris black belt. It's framed and it's numbered uniquely. Number 13 out of 25. You can have that. Put it in your office. Put it in your room. Put it wherever you need. If you have a daughter like I do, you might want to put it up maybe in the living room. She's only 2, but when they get older, you might want to put it up and say, I'm friends with this guy. Gina and Chuck are good friends, and they're good people, and they're solid, right? $2,500. Looking for open a bid now, but you get a 25. We got to start it off, and we got to sell it. We got to make sure the right person comes in and makes a donation back to Mercury One so we can continue doing the great work here at our training center. We want to make sure there's effective change, and you're a part of that. Open a bid, looking for it at 25. Can we lower it down to maybe 2 or so? We got to make sure we get the bid in there. We got it 25 in the room. We'll take it. We'll take that bid. 25 now, but you get a 25. We have a 25 in the room. Just note it. 2,500. We got it. 25 now, but we're going to get 3,000. We're going to go to 3. We're going in the $3,000 bid. Now a 27.5. Looking for $2,750. Oh, don't show them. Keep them off camera. That way they don't know who that is. 27.50. Looking for 2,500. I'm gonna sell it. We're gonna go fast. We gotta do it in the essence of time to get to the next item. It's a Chuck Norris autographed black belt, numbered and encased. We got another bid. 27.50. Peter, thank you so much. 27.5 in the room. Do you want to go to 3,000? We have mobile bidding, and obviously now we have live bidding. 27.5 to get a $3,000 bid, and now to get a 3 to get a 3,000. 3,000. We got it in the room. $3,000. 3,000 up to 32.5. 3,000. Can you go to 3,250? We're gonna speed it up. We're gonna sell it fast. We got it right over here. 3,000. Looking for it to get a $3,000. 3,000 up to get a 3 to get a 3,000. How much do you love Chuck Norris? Is it like you excited? He's over there like, I am pumped. I'm gonna do it. He's ecstatic. In the room, we have it, the highest bid. If you could come in, you see it right there on your screen, right below where the black belt is right there. We have 3,000 in the room, looking for $3,250. Looking for a gift of $3,250. We're gonna hurry up and sell it. 3,000 in the room, looking for $3,250. Here we go. Come on. Can you go to $3,250? 1, 2, 3, so! Hey, here in the room. Congratulations. Do you have any kids at home? You have any daughters? He bought it because he has daughters. I think that was the closing line. He's like, you know what? Don't want them at all. So our next live auction item is unbelievable. It's a replica of the Emancipation Proclamation by Abraham Lincoln. David Barton, will you share a little bit in the video? Share a little bit about our next live auction item. So what we have, we'll talk to that in just a second if we can get to it. It is a President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in the midst of the Civil War, announcing on September 22nd, 1862, that if the rebels end the fighting and rejoin the Union by January 1st, 1863, all slaves in the rebellious states would be free. This right here, as you see it on the screen, as you're about to see it live, is 11 by 17 and a half. You can see it right there, 11 by 17 and a half, angle it up a little bit, there we go. We have a nice tight shot of it. We have it, open a bit, now, but you get it, open a bit, 2,000. Carol's got it, $2,000. 2,000, we have it down, but you get a $2,000, but you get a 2,000. Our next giving level, what do we have our next giving? Look at a $2,300 bid now, but you get a $2,300. 2,000, we have it now looking for $2,300. So what you see here is President Lincoln had issued the Emancipation Proclamation amidst of the Civil War. $3,000 in the room. 3,000. Thanks for bringing your friends, Glenn. This makes it a lot better. Thanks for bringing your friends. It makes it a lot better. $3,000. We'll take it at $3,500. How about not $3,500? Outbid $4,000. 4,000. Can you go to 5,000 in the room? Will you go to 5,000 out there in the virtual world? If you'll go to 5,000, I think in the room they're discussing it. He's asking his wife. Uh-oh, Glenn's coming back. No.
This is a first copy. So this came from the Lincoln Museum. It's a first copy, $5,000.
$5,000. $5,000. This is the first copy, which means it is incredibly rare.
This is not a copy of a copy.
Yes.
This is a first copy from the museum with the Abraham Lincoln Museum.
And what that means is you're not getting the replica of the replica left on the fax machine or left on the printer. This is from the museum. $5,000 in the room. How about $5,500? 5,000 in the room now, but you get a $5,500. We have two bidders in here. Is that a third or a second bidder? $5,000 bidder now, but you get a $5,500. 55 looking for now, but you get a $5,500 bidder now. Next bid looking for $5,500. 5,000 in the room now, but you get a 55. No. What are you getting nervous about? No, he was about to do it with his water. I saw that. That was a water cup in the air. $5,500! And the good news is he's being responsible, drinking water. That's what we like to see. $5,500. Uh-oh, online, we're at $6,000. Sarah, congratulations. Right now, you're the highest bidder at $6,000. How about $6,300 to the waterman? 65. Oh! What you don't know happened is somebody new just stepped in. Keep the angle. There we go. 6,500. How about, can we go to 7,000? Carol, you doing okay with this, Claire? Looking for 65 in the room to get a 7,000 or whatever you see below. $6,200. 65. Can you get, there we go. 65 now, but you get a 65. $6,500 bid now, but you get a 67. 67. Let's go on these 200. Let's keep it in there. 67. We got it. Sarah, can you come back in? Can you come back in at 6,900? We're going to speed it up. The last chance for it. 67 now, but you get 69. Sarah, I want you to have it. Sarah, I want you to have it. 67 now, but you get a 69. Let's see if Sarah will do that. 67 now, but you get a 6,900. You have 67 in the room looking for 6,900. Sarah, will you go into it? 67 now, but you get a 6,900. 67 in the room now, but you get a 69. One, 2, 3, sold! $6,700. Good work. Okay, I'll tell you, we can do that? We can do another one? Okay, Sarah, I'll tell you what. If you can go to $6,700 and match that gift. Okay, no, we don't. Okay, I was just making sure. I see it on the notes. That's okay, thanks for clarifying. Glad you're right there. Nope, they overruled it. Nope, can't do it. Next item here tonight. Next item here tonight. Glenn, are you ready for yours? It's gonna be Restoring the Covenant painting. Glenn Beck, you had a little bit of time during COVID.
Most people don't know, yeah. Most people don't know I'm an artist as well. I'm a painter. This was for the logo, the original logo for the event that we were supposed to do. They all look the same. You know, the Restoring Honor, Restoring the Covenant was the last one we were gonna do in Gettysburg this last July 4th. David Barton and I were gonna sign it. I haven't even finished it. It's an original oil. This is the original for an event that never happened.
But we're doing it tonight, and we're doing it virtually. And the good news is it doesn't matter how we gather, but that we do gather.
Yes.
And we're gathering in your living room, and we're gathering so you can be connected. Let's toss it to a video a little bit. Now we have you live, but let's go ahead and look. No, we're not. Okay, that's cool. It's a one-of-a-kind.
This is this is it.
Yeah, one of one is not even finished. Maybe we could do some customizing.
I'll sign it and finish it and
So let's go to it right now. Open a bid now, but you get a $6,000 Restoring the Covenant painting by Glenn Beck. Not even finished. I
will finish it. I will finish it. I just have to seal it and I have to sign it. I'll get David Barton to sign it as well, and maybe I'll get Tim Ballard to sign it as well from OUR.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, if you've ever followed any of our restoring events, if you've ever been to any of them, you recognize the look of this. This is the event that didn't happen because of COVID this last summer. It was going to be an amazing event, but it's an amazing piece of art, and you can grab it now.
So we're looking at an opening bid of $6,000, a one-of-a-kind. You know, the word covenant means agreement, and we're in agreement tonight that is special, and we need to make sure we raise money for it. You can have it. We'll take care of the installation. We'll figure all those details out. He'll even finish and get the autographs. Will you make a gift of $6,000? We only have one of them. It's a one-of-a-kind piece. Open a bid now, but you get a $6,000. Will you go to $6,000? If you're sitting there thinking, I have a good spot for this 24-inch by 47-inch, one-of-a-kind, hand-painted, obviously, by Glenn Beck, as we just saw a few minutes ago. If you have a good spot for it, or you're thinking, this would be a good place for my office, I need something to tell a story. I need something that's gonna brighten up my area. This is a great item. You know, the holidays are coming, Christmas is coming, or you just say, you know what, I'm tired of looking at the same 4 walls for the last 9 months. Has it been 9 months? It's been 9 months. We need you to make a gift. Will you consider making a gift for a unique item that was made just for you? A gift of $6,000. Yeah, let's go to that. Let's start it there. If you could go in at $5,000, we'll open a bid around to get a $5,000. Texas, can they go to $5,000? Open a bid now, but you get a $5,000. Look at open a bid of $5,000. It's an original painting. It's perfect, and it's gonna be perfect for you. If you need something to decorate your space, add color, it's only 24 inches by 47 inches tall, hand-painted, one of a kind. If you didn't know Glenn was an artist, you do now. Great work. Open a bid now, looking for it at $5,000. Anybody? Oh.
Also, I want you to know, we have these 2 paintings are on part of the silent auction. This painting is also, I think, part of the silent auction. That's not a painting, that's a print that was actually hanging on either the set or our office wall of Fox for years. That was an original piece that I did years ago. But we have Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Churchill, and that's a silent auction. I have to tell you, I said to Mercury One, we should start it at $500, not $5,000, but it is a great piece of work. It's oil. and it's Abraham Lincoln with the sun either rising or setting at Gettysburg. How long does this take you to make and to create? Approximately? A week. Didn't this take me a week to do? Longer than that? Yeah, so I did it during over a week.
Yeah.
To make something like this, and you're going to spend more time on it to make it even better to complete it. I just have to finish it up. It is the original idea for the event that was really so close to happening, and then COVID happened. And I don't know. I looked at it and thought, what are we going to do with that? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to try to fundraise at least $5,000. We're looking for an open bid now, but you get a $5,000. $5,000. Let's get a tight shot of it one more time. Open bid now, but you get a $5,000. Can you go to the 5,000? You'll see it right below. Just click on the little button right there and go to $5,000. Let's go ahead and make it a little more, Glenn, you said 500. You're taking zeros off, but maybe we'll go to, what do you say, 1,000? Just start it? 500. It's a painting by Glenn Beck. I mean, really, it's a painting by Glenn Beck. Let's go to 500. Let's just go exactly where he said. I think it's going to be fun. I think we'll try it. Here we go. Dustin, you now have it. Oh, you did have it, but now Marcine has it. So that was a short-lived time. Right now we're at $1,000. We started low, brought it up high. 1,000 now, but you get a 15. We got 1,500. Dawn. Looking for $2,000. We got 2,000. Looking for $2,500. 25. We got it. Dawn is back in. Dawn lost for just a minute to Benjamin, but she's back. 2,500, looking for $30,000. 25, she has it now, but you get a 3,000. We're gonna speed it up, we're about to sell it. 25, but you get a 3,000. $1 bit now, but you get a 3,000. Dawn has it at 2,500. It's gonna close in 3, 2, 1, sold! Boom! Congratulations, Dawn. Wonderful work. Congratulations. So our next live auction item here tonight, it's our 5th one. Unbelievable. It's a replica of the handwritten Lincoln letter of emancipation in the U.S. Senate. A replica of the handwritten Lincoln letter of the emancipation to the U.S. Senate. It's remarkable and extraordinary. Rare. This is super rare. Really super rare and really, really cool. It says at the top, in his own handwriting, this is before I guess the White House had stationery, and it says Executive Mansion, July 15th, 1862, to the Honorable Solomon Foote, Speaker of the Senate. It says, "Sir, please inform the Senate that I shall be obliged if they will postpone their adjournment for at least a day." This is what they were getting ready to go home. The Emancipation Proclamation is an amazing document because they were trying to figure out, how do we free slaves, but we can't take property away from people, because that would be the argument. And so they said, wait a minute, that's a different country. They're saying it's a different country. So he had this idea of how we can stop slavery in the South right now by the Emancipation Proclamation. This was the letter that said, wait, don't go home. I've got an idea. And that is what you can have. You know, it originally appraised at over $85,000. So we want to make sure that you have a chance to have it. Obviously generously donated by the American Journey Center. $3,000 is the opening bid. This, if you need a conversation piece, if you're an introvert and say, I don't know how to talk to these people, I don't know, this is great. If you're an extrovert and you're like, I got to talk a bunch, this is perfect. This is such a great piece of history because if you really understand, and it leads you down this rabbit hole of how Abraham Lincoln was thinking. He was a lawyer, and he didn't want to take away slaves because after the war, he was so afraid somebody's going to sue and say, well, my father was the traitor, I wasn't the traitor, and that's my property. And then you'd have the whole argument of slavery over again. So they really had to be careful, and he was trying to figure out, how do we free people forever? how do we get people to be free forever? And this was the first step. This at night, in the middle of the night, please don't go home. That's the beginning of the end of slavery in America.
You know, back in the 1860s, that's what it was. We wanted to make, Abraham Lincoln had a great vision, and you can have a piece that is unbelievably rare. We have it right now, 3,500 with Peter. Congratulations. It's a replica of the handwritten Lincoln letter of the Emancipation to the U.S. Senate. Short, concise, to the point, says a lot.
That was Abraham Lincoln. He was just such a clear thinker, and really, truly, everything they have said about Abraham Lincoln not caring about African Americans, all of it is a lie. And this is just one of the documents that the American Journey Center has on display and has for people to come and research this. We have handwritten documents of him in the 1850s trying to take slavery apart. We have the fact that most people don't know, John Adams was a giant abolitionist. John Quincy Adams became president. He was an abolitionist. When he couldn't get it done as president, he went back and became a congressman, a president becoming a congressman. They actually made it impossible for him to bring up anti-slavery things because he'd bring it up all the time. He found somebody right at the end of his life that he said, he'll pick up the mantle here in Congress, and that was Abraham Lincoln.
And right now, Peter, you're at 3,500. You can hold history, just like Glenn is holding history right now. It could be on your mantle. It could be at home just in time for Christmas. It's succinct, it's beautiful, it's legible. July 15th, 1862 is what it says on there. Right now, 3,500 with Peter. 3,500 with Peter, looking for $4,000. Open a bit now, but you get a 4,000. We have 35 looking for 4,000. We know it's worth way more than that. Oh my word. 3,500. We're gonna go ahead and sell it quickly. We're gonna sell it. We know it's worth way more. Remember, like we said a little bit earlier, the original appraised at over $85,000. This is a replica of that handwritten letter of the Emancipation to the U.S. Senate. We're about to sell it. Peter has it at 35, looking for $4,000. 385 now, but you get a 4,000. Peter has it, 35, looking for 4,000, and it is sold, $3,500. Congratulations, Peter. What a great find. Excellent work. So our next item here, we talked about him a little bit earlier, and we're going to see him a little bit earlier, Gina and Chuck Norris. So
this has a story.
Super cool.
So this is Chuck Norris's gun, made by, I think, Smith & Wesson, right?
Yeah.
It's a Colt. Thank you, Colt. It's a 1911. It has, it's all embossed in gold and engraved, has pictures of Chuck Norris being Chuck Norris, and has some really cool quotes from Chuck Norris on it. I'm trying to remember one of them. I can't see it. Can you see it? But it has quotes on both sides of the gun that are amazing. This I actually bought at an auction from Chuck Norris to support Kickstarter. I paid $14,000, something like that for it. I'm selling my copy, my gun from Chuck Norris to raise money for, and Chuck, if you're watching, you can buy it back. But this is for our Mercury Journey Center, and it is a fantastic gun. I've never fired it, obviously, but
it's not one you want to fire. It's one you want to keep it there for conversation piece. Kickstart Kids, thank you so much. Obviously, Gina and Chuck Norris for your donation. Well, I guess Glenn for your donation, because you bought it, and now you're donating it back. Uh-oh. Your fingerprints. Glenn, don't you know better? We're live, so this is good. Open a bid, $3,000. Come on.
So I just wanted to
Okay.
read what it says on it. And gosh, it's so small I can't even read it holding it. To accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. And the other side is, I want violent... I can't see. Something about violence, and this will stop him. Violent men, this will stop him.
$3,000 in the room, and it comes with a case and Glenn's fingerprints.
Yeah.
We'll wipe that down. We'll
now
wipe
how
that
much
down.
would you pay?
$3,000 in the room.
Right.
Looking for 35.
It's got my DNA on it, so you could recreate another me in the future. Yeah.
It has stunning that 24 karat gold around it. I mean, it's an unbelievable piece. If you're sitting at home saying, I want to do it, well, you know who's sitting at home is Mark at $4,000. Congratulations, Mark. 4,000. You spent 9 more, so it's worth.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I'm feeling like a giant sucker right now. I'm feeling like a giant sucker.
4,500. Marcine is at 4,500, looking for $5,000.
Thank you, Marcine. Dave Elliott.
Dave's in at $5,000. 5,500 in the room. We got 5,500 in the room. 55 now, but Jim has it. Can you go to 6,000? Can you go to 6,000? We got it with Marcine. Can you go to 6,500 in the room? 6,000 online. $6,000 bid in them. 65.
We need to get my neighbors more booze.
Yeah, go get your...
Guys, go back into the bar, get more booze, and then come back.
6,500 online. David has it. Can you go to $7,000? $7,500 down, but you get a $7,500, but you get a 75.
Come on, Marcine.
Come on,
Marcine. You know you want
7,000 sitting right here in the room, but 7,500 is sitting in your living room. We're at 7,000 here, but 7,500 is where you are. Well, you got a 75. David!
David Elliott.
David's back in at 7,500.
Surely a man who would pay $7,000 would pay $8,000 for a gun. I mean, you've already passed the point of insanity, so let's just go.
Well, how about, can we include the case as if it wasn't originally, just to make it sound better, for 10,000? Will you go to 10?
Not the case. No, I won't let the case go.
Okay.
No, not for a penny less than 10 grand.
Well, that's good, because that's what we're hoping for, minimum at least.
Wow.
7,500 is current with
You
David.
know who carried? Somebody go into the vault and grab my patent signature. You know who carried a 9/11? Patton. I brought this in from my office just a little while ago.
Wait a minute, what?
I know, my wife is like, you are so, what are you doing? Kids, your college funds are all going away.
JP, what are we doing with this?
So this, I will throw it in, but not for a penny less
than 12,000.
12,000.
Yeah, there we go. You're gonna add this in from General.
This is
Patton.
from Patton. This is Patton's signature. Okay? So that is a signature from George Patton. For 12 grand, you can have both.
The gun? Gun.
You get
the
gun.
Case.
The gun, the case. I don't know about the case, but the gun, the case, and the patent for 12 grand. It won't go for a less than that.
Can we go to 12,000 online? Would that make sense to him, Claire? Can we do that?
I mean, you could get the gun for 8, but
well, if it's you, it's 14.
Yeah, that's right. Shut up. So you can get the gun for 8. If you bid at 12, I will throw this in as well.
So we have to get to 12,000 to activate that right now. David Elliott, you're at 7,500, and that is just for the Chuck Norris.
Or you could buy this for 12. You could buy the
government model
patent.
45 pistol.
This guy over here, one of my neighbors, see me. You look how pissed he is.
$12,000! Yeah!
Come here, hug it out.
Yeah,
come
bring
here.
him in.
Come here, hug it out. Come on.
Somebody shave his head first.
Come on.
No, wait. Whoa. But we didn't sell it. We just had to start it. We had to get to 12.
Oh, man. You don't want this guy angry. You don't want him angry.
Well, we said 12,000 if you shave your head before you come on camera.
Or you want the gun? And the gun.
We had to get to 12. You want to sell it? 12,000, go to 13. Last chance. Can we provide it at 13,000? Sold at $12,000. Congratulations. Come on, y'all give him a big round of applause for that.
He was not going to let that thing go. No. And I was a little afraid he might come and kill me.
Wow.
Good job. Good job.
We could sell it at 7,500. Is that where we're going to... Can we sell just that? Yep.
The Norris gun?
Yep, we can sell just the gun, not the General Patton autograph, because we have...
So give my gun to the 7,500.
David.
To David, and then give the...
Can we get David on the phone? Let's try it.
Another one from Chuck Norris.
Let's see if he's willing to do it. So what we have here, what just happened is this. Let's recap and put a bow on it. My name is Johnny Bravo Holloway. Got to say that. I'm a licensed auctioneer in the state of Texas, 17868. There you go. So what we just did is we had a Chuck Norris Colt 45 with a case that Glenn originally purchased. We were auctioning that off. The bidding got so exciting, he said, you know what, I have a General Patton autograph and a frame casing. We're gonna throw that in as well. But where we left the bid was, just for the gun, was at $7,500. Is David on the phone? Bring me David, let's see. So, hey, is this David? Yes. David, speak up real quick. So you wanted the gun at $7,500. Are you willing to purchase it at $7,500?
Yes.
Sold! We got another one for $7,500! Thank you, David. Congratulations. That is wonderful. That's $19,500 that we just sold. Wonderful, wonderful work. So our rich history, we want to make sure we bring you our rich history in so many different ways. And so our next item is, you have it as that, I have it as this. I have it as the draft of the Declaration of Independence. There we go. The facsimile of the draft of the Declaration of Independence.
This is a copy of the 1830 engraving. This is the best piece of history I think I've ever seen. This changes the entire dialogue of how America is racist. This is evidence that our founders were trying to stop slavery. This is my engraving from 1830. This is a copy of it, and it is the most powerful document I've ever seen. First of all, the Declaration of Independence is just amazing. It's beautiful. But in the usurpation, can somebody come over here and hold it? Shai, can you help? Okay, good. Thank you. So this is the beginning, and you'll see that it says United States of America. That's capitalized. That's the only thing in the Declaration of Independence that is capitalized, except on page 3, on the usurpation part where they're saying this, the king did this, the king did this. They're usually 1 to 2 lines of all of the offenses. But beginning here and ending here is about slavery. And he excoriates the king, and you can see in his own handwriting, his handwriting actually changes. He capitalizes the word men, and he prints out the word Christian right above it. Why? This is the amazing part. Thomas Jefferson is writing, and he says, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, and then he gets to slavery. It's the last piece. Thomas Jefferson, how can a guy who wrote all men are created equal not include blacks? Easy, he did. Here he says, this Christian king, mocking the king, this Christian king has taken people who had no offense. It did not offend him. He took them from their own land, put them on ships, and if they were lucky enough to live, they got to America where this Christian king put men on the open auction block to be sold. This is Thomas Jefferson saying at a time where you didn't want to say that blacks were men because they were slaves. This is Thomas Jefferson alone in his hotel room writing this and saying, men, capitalize. I want everyone to know. United States of America says blacks are men. This completely destroys everything that anyone is saying about our founders, and in particular, Thomas Jefferson. Now, this was lost, this whole paragraph, it is so powerful. This whole paragraph was lost because here it says a declaration of the representatives of the United States. The finished draft says a unanimous declaration of independence. All the states, they voted before this was ever drafted. Do we have to have it unanimous? The answer was yes, it has to be unanimous. Otherwise, the king will find one place where he can, just one sliver of light, and he'll exploit that and tear us apart. So it had to be unanimous. When they went through this, there were 11 states that voted for that. 2 said no. 2. So all of the founders, everyone was racist? Or was it 2 colonies, 2 states that said no to this, with 11 saying yes, but they couldn't do it because it had to be unanimous? This takes all of the talking points from schools, all of the talking points, and blows it out of the water. This is an engraving, and the way they used to do this in 1830 is they took the original document and then they took, I don't remember what kind of solvent it was, but they put a solvent on it. They laid another piece of paper on it, pressed it, then lifted it off. And that's why all of our founding documents are so light, because they took half the ink of it off. Then they engraved it into a printing stone, and then they would print them. This is after Thomas Jefferson it passes away. It's 4 years after he dies. They take all of his important documents, they print them in a book. This was actually part of a book that was a large, expanded, that if you bought the book, you also got this. It's tremendous.
So right now we have it at 4,500. We got to go to 5,000. Glenn, thank you so much for sharing. I love coming to history class. It's unbelievably fantastic. Marcine is at $5,000. Looking for 5,500. It's a facsimile of the draft of the Declaration of Independence. Not 55, but we have in the room $6,000. 6,000 in the room, looking for 6,500. This weighs a good amount, though. It's the frame, not the paper.
Yeah.
Or the ink.
It's a remarkable thing, and it's just one of the 6,500 now. One of the things, just one of them, that completely reversed the 1619 Project. This is something that you should share with everyone you know. This goes in a business, this goes in a library, this could go in your home. This should go where people will see it, because it restores history of America.
And even if you're a politician and you're watching it and you're saying, you know what, when I get elected or I get reelected here in the next couple of weeks, this is a good thing for your office, or even for their office if you're thinking about it as well. 7,500. Marcine has it. Looking for $8,000. Can you get 8,000 in the room now? But you get a 75 in virtual world.
So the engraving was done. This is not the engraving. This is a copy of the engraving, okay? The engraving was done in 1830. They put a solvent over the whole letter. They pressed another piece up. They lifted that off. Then it was set to an engraving, like, our money is printed with engravings, set down and printed that way.
So right now we're at $8,500. $8,500. Looking for $9,000. 8,500. We got it. David is in at 9,000. 9,000. We gotta get to 9,500. If we go to 9,500, the thing is we gotta go to 10. Oh my word! David and Marcine, it's like you're playing tennis. It's like you're playing tennis. Marcine has it at $9,500.
So
come on. 10,000.
10,000, just got 10,000 from David.
We got it.
Here's the best part of this is not only are you getting this, but you are a major player in helping us educate the next generation, be able to share these things. The original will stay here in our vault, where when you come as a family, you'll be able to use that, look at that. It'll be online, but your money for this goes to build that whole system so we can educate the children and ourselves about the real history of America.
So David and Marcine were going back and forth, and let's take a guess. Marcine is highest at $11,500. Uh-oh. She was. David, you're at 12 grand, $12,000. The capital letters I think are important. 12.5, Marcine. 12,000, we got it now, but you get a 13,000. David, you get a 13. 12,005. 13, David's back in. Marcine, come on. David has it now, but you get a 13. You got it.
Wow, Marcine. You know, David, Marcine's been talking about you behind your back. She just doesn't think you can do it. Oh my gosh. David just did 14. Marcine, 14.5.
outbid him.
Come
so
on.
What we're seeing on our end, just to take you behind the scenes, is what we're seeing them bid back and forth.
Yeah,
David had it. Marcine had it. David has it.
Marcine, let me tell you something. David's been talking behind your back. He just does not want you to have this.
$15,500. David, she's been talking. She's in at 16. Oh, she's out it. David has it at $16,000.
David Elliott. Now Marcine's
in 16. They're gonna go to 20. I know they're fighting for 20 grand. Let's see it. Texas, do you think they go to $20,000? Come on. Marcine's at 17.5. David can get 18,000. 17.5 to give it 18,000. 17 and a half to get 18. She's sitting there. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. David has it at 18. David has it at 18. Marcy has it at 18.5. Now, but you get a David, can you get a 19,000? David, can you get a 19,000? Marcine has it at 18.5.
David,
he approaches the green.
You can't.
Oh!
David is at 19. Marcine,
we like
you
this.
can't let a guy beat
Marcine,
you.
come on.
Yes.
Come on, David, go to 20. Come on, go to $20,000. Uh-oh. David is at 20. Well, oh, he was. Marcine's at 20,005. So we're going in $500 increments back and forth. David and Marcine are the two active bidders. I'm sure there's somebody else out there saying, you know what? I want to outbid him. Why don't you do it? Join the team. Join the fun. And it's going to a great cause. We want to make sure we share the rich history in an accurate way. That's the goal here tonight. That's the focus.
And that's what we talked about in the before the auction, that we are beginning this quarter, and we're going to do virtual. It will be free online virtually. And you, of course, can come here and come with your family for a 3-day program. But we want everyone to be able to see the true history of America. And it's something my family is going to go through. When we do the first one, my family is going to be a part of that. And this helps fund that.
David's up at 21,000. Oh!
Marcine.
See, that's one thing you'll learn real fast, is that women always win.
Yeah, she is.
Until
but
David
you
puts
can't
another bid in.
you can't let Marcine win, David. You can't. I'm rooting for you. I really am, deeply.
Maybe they'll go to 25,000. I mean,
no.
Yeah.
Oh, well, David's at
22.
22, but Marcine, she would, I mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there
Marcine's
she
back in at $22,500.
You guys, one of you two just needs to put the other one out of misery and just 25.
Can we just put it and set it at 25 and just see?
Just see.
One of them. How about this? Can we set it at $25,000, and can we offer one to David, and can we offer one to Marcine?
Yes, this is a copy of my copy, so yes.
So we can do both of, y'all can both have it. David and Marcine. Let's get one of them on the phone. I don't care who it is. Let's try it. David and Marcine, for you.
Marcine just did it.
25,000. David, can you go to 25,000? Come on, Texas. Let him hear you. Let's go to 25,000 again.
Come on, David.
Come on. sell it to Marcin for 25. Let's get to David and sell it to him for 25,000. Well, that's, of course, if he wants to.
I mean, David is showing his colors here.
Yeah, I mean, he stopped at 22, but...
22. I mean, surely a guy would pay 22, would pay 25.
Yeah.
It's for the children, David.
It's
for the children.
You know, speaking
of
the
look at, I mean, think of the poor children without eyes that will never have the chance to see this without you, David. David is right now going, "Gee."
What do we have? Hey, David, this is Johnny. You're live right now. So, Marcin, I'm sorry to tell you, but Marcin beat you at 25,000. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
No.
Fine.
No, how about this? Would you buy it at 25,000 as well, and you get another one of your own?
Absolutely.
Sold! $25,000 2 times!
Thank you, David. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. This is Glenn. Thank you so much. God bless.
$50,000 in one item tonight. Come on! If that doesn't tell you that America wants to go back to work, I don't know what tells you that.
Amen.
That's a great work.
Amen.
That's what we're doing here tonight. So our final live auction item here tonight. My name is Johnny Bravo Holloway. Our next and final live auction item is a painting of Washington. You've seen it all night behind us.
This
and you've
is
seen it in another video. In God We Trust.
This is an amazing. Now, this is a giclée, but the frame alone has got to be worth, I don't know, a couple of grand. Just the frame, easy. It's 24 karat gold. The original is massive, and it hangs here at the American Journey Center. I own the color study for the original Prayer at Valley Forge, and this artist was listening to me one day when I said the Prayer at Valley Forge is wrong, and it drives me crazy because George Washington never prayed like this. He prayed with he looked up and he prayed out loud, and this is why we know the prayer happened. Because he did pray this way, and he prayed out loud. And we know that it was Isaac, what's his name, that owned the part of Valley Forge. We have the deed, Potts, right? Isaac Potts was a British supporter of the crown. He owned the adjoining land to Valley Forge. He was in the trees, and he was spying on them, and he looked at George Washington. He saw him. He listened to his prayer, he ran home, and he told his wife, we're on the wrong side. Any man who talks to God like that, God will listen to. And he changed his loyalty and became part of the American Revolution. That's the story, and this is the only accurate setting I have ever seen. And what's amazing is, look here. If you look at his upper lip, and you can really only see this in person, but if you look at his upper lip, do you notice anything? No, he has no upper teeth. Oh, yeah. He's without his wooden teeth, which he hated because they were so uncomfortable. She's even painted so it looks like when you're really up close, he's not wearing his upper dentures.
You can see the indention right there.
Yeah, it's really an amazing, accurate painting.
And we saw the video a little bit earlier tonight. We saw it, there's only 77 in total. There we go, we can get a nice clean shot of it. Stay right there, there we go. It's 24 karat gold plated. Thanks obviously to the American Journey Center for the donation here tonight. You know, the original, it appraised at a really high number. The original appraised at
about 140, 150,000.
Yeah, $140,000 was the original appraisal. But right now, Mark, you're at $5,000. You have it. Mark has it. Happened to get a $5,000. Can you go to $6,000?
This is what's really great about this at the very top. In God we trust. This has never been more true. These are the words, the very few words that George Washington said at the Constitutional Convention. They came down, and New York, of course it was New York, wanted extra, give me's back and forth, and I want this and I want that. And they got to a bypass, and New York said, we're not doing it unless you give New York these things. They all got quiet and all their eyes turned to George Washington. He stood up and he said these words, "Let us raise a standard to which the wise and honest can repair. The rest is in the hands of God." He was saying, we've come this far. Please don't sell out now. Do the right thing. If we do the right thing now, generations will look at that standard and say, we can repair it. It's worth repairing.
And that's exactly what we're doing here tonight. And that's what your donations are going to. The American Journey Center is doing essentially the same thing. We want to make sure that there's honesty and integrity and accuracy in the history that we share and the history that you learn. But not for only our generation, but for generations to come, just like how George Washington is. Right now, Don has it at $6,000. Mark had it. Don has it. Uh-oh, maybe it's going to be like it was a second ago. It's an original painting, of course. Liz Lemon Swindle, thank you so much. The original is a 28-inch by 32-inch, signed and numbered. So you can have it here tonight, but Don has it. Don has it at $6,000. Looking for $7,000. The Valley Forge edition is what we have here tonight.
Liz came to my office about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. May have been longer than that. And she had heard me talking about George Washington, the Prayer of Valley Forge on the air. She came to my office, and she's a fantastic, very well-known artist. And she said, please tell me the story again, because I want to do it, but I want to do it accurately. We probably spent about an hour talking about the scene. She then went out and did all of her own research to make sure it was exactly right. The uniform was right. The buttons look like, I mean, it's amazing up close. The buttons look like they are shining in the day. The snow all around his cape, you'd swear you'd swear that it was something. It's snow.
It's really
three-dimensional
almost.
Three-dimensional.
You can see so much of it, and the texture and the coloring is rich. Don, you're at $6,000. Don, you have it now, but you get a $6,000. $7,000 in the room. $7,000 in the room. You know why? It's probably because you can see how rich the coloring is. $7,000 in the room now, but you're gonna get $8,000. Don or Mark, can you go to $8,000? We're gonna wrap up the live auction here in just a minute, and we're gonna go to the raffle, but this is gonna be your last chance. $7,000 in the room, can you go to $8,000? $8,000 with Don. Don has it online at $8,000.
Tyler?
Will you go to $9,000?
I will make you this. I will tell you this. You know what? I will tell you this. The color study of the Arnold Freiberg painting, where he's looking down, the color study is worth over $1 million. Okay, the color, not the original painting, the color study of it is over $1 million, and that's because that Prayer at Valley Forge hangs in millions of Americans' homes. This painting will hang in millions of Americans' homes. This is the first time it's been seen by the nation. But I'm telling you, in 10 years, they will make prints of this that will sell in Hobby Lobby, and it will be in millions of people's homes.
And you can have it first. You can have the rich coloring. $8,000 online. Can you go to $9,000?
85. It's really.
We'll do it. $8,500. Let's just do it. We'll take it. We'll do it. You know, what are y'all doing a golf clap for? What is that? No golf claps.
No golf claps.
No golf claps. Big claps. We're in Texas. Oh, we got 9,000 online though.
Or 9,000.
We have Dawn at 9,000 online.
We have David at 9,500 now. Next
David
bid is
95.
10.
Can you go to $10,000? We'll keep the bidding in a $500 increments. 95 with David. Can we go to $10,000? Don, Dale. Don and Dale.
Dale, I love you.
Yeah, Dale.
New bidder, Dale.
Dale, I'm springing for you at some point. You know what I mean? Here we go. 10,000. That was inappropriate jokes. Looking for $10,500.
It's not only going to a great cause, but it is also an unbelievable. That is 24 karat gold. The frame alone is worth probably a couple of grand.
So we have it right now at 10,500. David has it at 10,500. Can we do a, 12? 11,000 with Dale. Dale's back in at 11,000. Do you think if we go to 12 or 13 or 14, where can we go?
11.5.
Dave is at 11.5.
12 is the next bid we're looking for, and we just hit 12.
We got it from Dale.
We've got a bidding war between David and Dale.
Now we got it.
And Dale.
12.5 with David.
Dale, David's been talking about you behind your back. You can't let him win.
12.5,
$13,000.
$13. Final live auction item here tonight. We're at 13,000. You know, I love the facts of it. David, you have it right now at 13.5. The facts and the details, the coloring. In God we trust.
You can't see it on television. The television and photographs. I even tried to photograph it to put it up online the other day, and you just can't. You can't understand it unless you're standing in front of it. You see the tear running down his cheeks.
That was the first thing I noticed when I saw it this afternoon and came here.
And
was
each
the
hair.
tear.
Each hair.
$15,500.
16,000.
16.5. David has it at 16.5. Y'all are going fast. David and Dale are back and forth. There we go.
17,000. 17,000.
17.5 with David.
Dale and David want this.
It's like D&D is dynamite. I mean, we're going to rechange the song. 18,000 with Dale.
Next bid is 18.5. We're looking for somebody to come in with 18.5.
$18,500. David, will you outbid Dale for 18,500? Can you do it? 18,000. Looking for 18.5. Dale has it. I'm going to get 18. You get 18.5. Can you do it? Texas, can he go to 18.5?
It's just $500 more, David. Just $500 more, and it is hanging in your house or your office.
So, I'll tell you what we can do. Can we just go to 18,000 and David and Dale, final live auction, and final time we're gonna offer this to you. But if we could do doubles, even a triple. So if there's somebody out there saying, you know what, I had fun. I wanna be a part of this, but I wanna go to 18,000. We'll sell it twice at $18,000. So right now, Dale sold 18,000. David, can you do $18,000 as well? Texas, let him hear you at home. He needs to do it. Come on! We'll sell him at 18.
Come on, David. Bring it home. Bring it home. Do we have it?
18.
We just lost our screen.
We're going to put it back on the back end. We're calling him. We had Dale. Now we got David. Is David there?
Is that David?
Let's do it again. This is fun. Glenn, ask him. Ask him the question.
David.
Yes.
How are you?
Well.
There it is.
Good. Well, I'm good. I'd be better if you found an extra $500 in your couch.
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good for it.
You'll do it?
Yep.
Sold
got it.
$18,000.
That's great. That's great. That is great.
36,000 on that item.
You are gonna love it.
50,000 on another.
You're gonna love it.
Wow. So if you're sitting there thinking, you know, I wanted to make a donation and I wanted to give $18,000 as well to get, well, we'll make it available for you. All you got to do is go to our website, Mercury One or M1 nextchapter.com. There it is, M1 nextchapter.com.
And if I could ask you just a Lincoln, if you would just pledge, we have it so we can do it monthly, right? So people can take out. You can become an automatic donor, even if it's a $5 bill or whatever you can afford. Every month, become a member. Also, the prints of this is a giclée, but the prints of this are also available.
They're on M1nextchapter.com. They're actually a silent auction item. It's a multi-purchase item. You can have a poster print for $75, so you can frame it and hang it in your home. And we'll have those at mercury1.org starting Monday on our merchandise and merch shop.
Nice.
So we have a lot of different things that you can grab as posters, and you can also get the declaration and other things for your home, but they are not the framed, but they are the same kind of spirit and a very reasonable price. We want people to have this history and these things, and we want to give you an opportunity to feel good about supporting all of the work at Mercury One.
So guys, thank you so much. That was a wonderful job. Did you have fun here tonight and in your living room? Did you have a good time? A festive environment and a lot of fun. You know, earlier we were able to sell a black belt that was signed by the one and only, the philanthropic, the Grand Master himself, Chuck Norris. We also were able to sell a Colt 45, and we threw in some other cool things. We sold it twice. But we have a special presentation, the Bonhoeffer Angel Award. We're gonna do the raffle right after this, but first, ladies and gentlemen, Gina and Chuck Norris with the Bonhoeffer Angel Award.
Every year, we give something called the Bonhoeffer Award, named after Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a man who stood and changed the world because he stood. Last year, we gave it to a clown. This year, it's really the first year I think we're giving it, and it goes to Chuck Norris. Chuck is a very, very good friend of ours, and he has truly changed the world in ways most people don't even know.
So Chuck and Gina Norris, they founded Kickstart Kids, and they have been working with schools all throughout the state of Texas for 30 years. They have impacted hundreds of thousands of young generational kids growing up with character building skills and discipline, and it's been life-changing and generational changing.
I don't know if you know this, but my son actually is in the Kickstart program. He has been doing the training with the Chuck Norris teachers, and it's game-changing.
I didn't
know that. It really does change.
That's amazing.
And it's his 80th birthday today.
Happy birthday, Chuck.
And thank you, Chuck and Gina, our Bonhoeffer Award winners.
Good evening, everyone. Gina and I could not be more honored to accept the Bonhoeffer Angel Award.
We hold dear the friendships of Glenn, Tanya, Suzanne, and everyone at Mercury One, and wholeheartedly support and believe in your many missions.
Kickstart Kids has been our life mission, and it is a true compliment to be recognized in your prestigious organization. We believe and have witnessed firsthand the benefits of the martial arts to train the mind, body, and spirit of the kids in our program.
As we unite with you tonight through these unprecedented circumstances, we recognize that our world is in crisis, and we have a unique opportunity and an obligation to do our part to help create an environment and a world that is more respectful, empathetic, and kind.
Kickstart Kids' purpose is to teach character through karate, and by showing the children we serve how to live out the values that are instilled in our unique curriculum. As role models and mentors, Kickstart Kids has served over 100,000 children over the past 30 years.
That really is something.
Yeah, we're just beginning.
Those are big numbers. Glenn, Tanya, Suzanne, and everyone at Mercury One, we're honored to work alongside you and your many incredible missions. On behalf of Kickstart Kids and everyone that serves within our organization, we thank you and are deeply humbled for this award. We love you all. God bless you, and
good
night.
night.
Congratulations to Gina and Chuck Norris for getting the Bonhoeffer Angel Award. It's a major accomplishment, and so we always appreciate your friendship and relationship over the years. So a lot of you actually did something pretty cool. You decided, you know what, I want to get a raffle ticket tonight, and I want to win a Mercedes-Benz A220, or I want to spend the day with David Barton and Glenn Beck. your choice. Well, of course, the first choice is the one we call now. So, Trisha, Cheyenne, let's do it. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel. We're gonna spin it, spin it, spin it. Tell us when to stop at home. Perfect, that's stop. Some of these are falling out. There we go. Just pick it up. Oh, there we go. Pull it in.
I'm sorry.
No, you can't. You okay. No, you're good. Here we go. The winner is number 421. 421 is the number. Congratulations. We're gonna look up who the name is of winner 421.
They're gonna get the name real quick and we'll call the name out.
We're gonna get the name real fast, so we're gonna tell you who that is, associated with the number 421. And then that person, we're gonna call you on Monday. We're gonna give you the first right of first refusal. Let's try that name again. Johnny Watts, congratulations. Johnny, you're either gonna win a brand new Mercedes-Benz A220, or you're gonna choose to spend the day doing a lot of great things, learning a lot from David Barton and Glenn Beck. Congratulations, yeah, I locked it back. I've done this a bunch. Learned that the hard way. Okay, here we go. Trisha. There we go. So the next winner is gonna have whatever Johnny does not want. It's a good name, by the way. So if Johnny chooses the Mercedes-Benz, this person, number 62. Number 62 del español 62. También es importante esta noche. Aquí are we in, I guess, Dallas. We can call it Dallas. D-Town Boogie. Number 62. Number 62, as we look up who that is, we're gonna announce that.
If you bought early, that's you.
Yeah, right? Remember to use the hashtag M1NextChapter. Michelle Snyder, congratulations. So Johnny's gonna choose either the Mercedes-Benz A220 or a day with Glenn Beck and David Barton, and then obviously you're gonna get the next option there. So congratulations. Thank you to all of you that have supported here tonight. It's an honor to be back here with you guys. You know, it doesn't matter how we gather, but that we do gather, and that's what we've done here tonight. We're making effective change. Continue sharing the story, continue researching and learning the rich history of the United States. Hashtag America goes back to work, and hashtag M1NextChapter when you share on social media.
I will tell you that this is our 9th year, and this has been a really weird year, obviously, for all of us. But we are going to be celebrating our 10th anniversary next time we are together. And you are going to see in this next 12 months remarkable things happening because of you, and we can't thank you enough for everything that you've done, all of the support over the years, all of the slaves that have been freed, all of the people that have been reunited, all of the people that are out of the line of fire because of the Middle East and the people who have been persecuted. That's not just happening in the Middle East, that's happening all over the world, and because of you, we are in those places. All of the sex slaves. Next week, we are going to tell you about four women that were taken and sold into slavery. One of them, I think, is a nurse. They are really well-educated women. They were so hungry, and their children were so hungry in Venezuela. They were conned into something. Actually, the 4 professional women were then taken, drugged, flown out of the country to another country, sold into sex slavery. Their kids didn't know what happened to them. No one knew what happened to them. It was only because they were trying to feed their family in the socialist country of Venezuela. We just rescued them, and thanks to Donald Trump for all of the things that he did to get that done. They are here in America, and we're going to tell that story next week, and it's because of you.
And your faithful support, amen. Love hearing those stories. It's a story that happens all too often, but thank you again for sharing that. We appreciate you joining us. We hope to see you in 2021 in person. Continue learning and getting a lot more out of what you're doing.
Just want to remind everyone that the silent auction is open until 10 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. It closes at 10 p.m. So please keep bidding and supporting Mercury One.
Well, the good news is it's 10:10.
Sorry, my watch isn't working. It's 10:12. So silent auction is closed. Please go to mercury1.org if you'd like to continue to donate and support all the work that we do here at the American Journey Training Center. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Stay tuned. Have a great night. God bless.